All right, let's just start this thing. You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to get.
Okay.
There, son.
So what's going on?
Not a whole lot, dude.
I don't know.
Tired. I am tired.
There's you flying away on a helicopter.
There's me with a little mouse hand right over it.
We should say a prayer. Dear Lord, fuck this guy and his tax absorbing catastrophe.
Yeah, you know.
You know what that helicopter
Drain
cost.
on society. Thank God for Yosar.
Well, it's good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. It's been like a few days.
It's been a day. You're a little tired. Halloween was yesterday, just in case anybody's wondering.
Halloween is the most exhausting holiday for me.
You're a party animal.
Yeah, well, Halloween time I usually spend like a whole month getting the house all doctored up.
And you must have put 40 hours into that house of yours with all that shit you had set up everywhere.
Probably.
I mean, shit in a good way.
Yeah. We got like a whole storage unit, a small storage.
You had some pretty interesting stuff, man, because there was some ghosts in the window, and you went that spiderweb shit.
Yeah.
takes
tiring.
Takes a long ass time, especially when you got a broken foot.
That's why you buy a 6-pack and invite your friends over.
And go to town. Get good Curtis there to help you out.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So what'd you do last night?
Went downtown Santa Cruz. They closed off Pacific Avenue's like the main drag down there. Closed that off and got dressed up in my pirate costume since I got my peg leg there for my foot.
Right. Any weirdos in Santa Cruz?
Oh, dude, that's all there is in Santa Cruz. That's
any crazy shit going downtown? Any good stuff? Any good costumes?
Lots of good costumes. A couple years ago, if we're gonna talk about crazy stuff on Halloween, we saw a bunch of women dressed up like Xena, warrior princess, something like that.
Oh yeah.
And they were beating the shit out of some girl. I mean, like
they were in a gnarly fight.
Yeah, it was real.
Oh wow.
It was pretty. Entertaining's not the right.
That's
word.
Classic Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hilarious. You'd see like Xena warrior princess
just going to town on someone.
And was it a couple of Xena warrior princesses?
There was like 4 of them.
Oh wow.
They're just jumping somebody.
Just beating the shit out of some poor girl.
Where we grew up, that thing was kind of common. Not to see somebody in that outfit.
Oh fuck
see
yeah.
Fighting, but I haven't. That's the only fight I think I've seen since I've lived up in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, coming from the Palmdale, Lancaster area. Yeah, it's very tribal in a primitive sort of way, primitive savage kind of way, down there in that area, bunch of savages. No disrespect to all the savages in Palmdale.
Yeah, we were one of them.
Like headhunters. I was what was I watching last night? I was watching I ended up turning it off. But I was watching this documentary by what's that dude's name? That German guy?
David Hasselhoff.
Werner
von Braun.
Werner Herzog.
Like that?
Herzog. He did a really good documentary on the internet and computers recently. So then I watched one on volcanoes. And so he was on this island. It's like off of Indo or something. And the island, of course, has this huge volcano on it. And these poor people, like there's this village that lives there, like this primitive indigenous tribe. And this island sucks, right? Because there's a volcano. It's an active volcano. It destroyed the place like a couple of years ago. Wiped them all out. And then at the same time, they're dealing with global warming. And so they have seawater, the ocean's rising, and then this volcano's like super active.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, and so what's his name? Werner Herzog. I can't say it. Was on that island talking to the dude, and it's kind of crazy, man. Those guys were headhunters. I think that's probably where I was going with these things. Savages, right? They were
I was wondering where you're going.
They were pygmies. They weren't pygmies. They were cannibals. So they do these like cannibal ceremonies and stuff.
There are still tribes out there that have never seen like.
You think so?
Civilization.
You think so?
That picture that came out in National Geographic.
I thought that was phony.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's phony. Like, is it the one where they're like flying over with a helicopter?
The guy's like looking up with a spear.
Yeah, I heard that was phony. I heard that was debunked bullshit.
Well,
but it is what it is. But yeah, man. 4th of July. Halloween was pretty great.
Well, yeah, what'd you do?
What did I do? Gave out candy. And
the typical American thing.
And I was, I'm a workaholic, because when I'm working, I'm making money. I like to make money, so, it's like a video game to me. So instead of playing like video games, I'm working on internet marketing campaigns, and then the scoreboard is like money in the bank.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I correlate the whole thing, and so I just sat around and watching documentaries. So I'm like on this Louis Theroux kick. If you ever go on his YouTube channel, the guy's got like tons and tons of documentaries.
Yeah, I looked back at those ones we talked about last week.
Yeah.
And those were filmed like 1999.
I know. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun because I remember that era. Like I knew right off the bat. It's funny when they're talking about the year 2000 and the end of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch that one with like the that's on his YouTube channel. So like all of this content's from like the 90s.
Yeah.
Like he's been doing like more serious stuff on like these bigger projects. But he's got all of this content from the 90s, and it's all about like all the oddball shit that we do in the United States that we don't really think anything of, like televangelism. So he went
infomercials.
He was hilarious. He was like Dallas, Texas, 4 million people, and 3 million of them were born again. Yeah,
was he on the Daily Show? Like I recognize him from somewhere. And
I don't know. Maybe. I just kind of discovered him a little. Just kind of discovered
through those videos.
He's got one on Scientology. See, the crazy thing about that guy is he kind of embeds himself like for weeks.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting annoying, right, to the people that he's interviewing.
Oh, yeah.
So like their true colors start to come out, which makes it super fun because
that's his whole goal, probably.
That's his whole thing. Like he asks these. He's got like no filter, right? So he just asks questions like a 6-year-old kid would, And then so people are like patient with him at the beginning, and then like 2 weeks later they're like, "Get the fuck out of here," kind of stuff, It's kind of funny, but he's got some good stuff, man.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, but
I saw a news article today, and it was like front of Yahoo News.
Yeah,
and it was a lady in Japan was getting surgery done. I guess she was probably like knocked out.
Oh, I think I heard about this.
But I guess she farted during her surgery.
Yeah.
And she was getting operated on with a laser, and the laser caught fire and it like burned a lot of her body.
Oh my God! Could you imagine that?
And just being the news story, you're the person who farted. How'd you get burned? Well, I had some nasty gas. It's sad, but it's
what's kind of bizarre about that whole thing is. So much. I heard the laser. How does the laser ignite? Right. I'm thinking the laser, because it was doing some incision work. I think probably on her lower. She's working on a cervix. I think.
Yeah.
And she farted. So she let off a big ass fart, and it was enough. I think the heat from the laser ignited it. That's kind of what I think really happened. You can't really like light a laser on fire, right? But so I can only imagine this laser is burning, and then all of a sudden you get this big old orange fireball coming out of her ass.
God, it's terrible.
But then it's got to stay going, right? Because if it just burns.
It caught things on fire.
It's got to catch things on fire. I wonder if she was like releasing the gas over time. Like it wasn't just like one big. It was just a slow release, and so it was just kind of burning.
So childish, and you can't help but laugh about it.
It's Chinese, man.
Yeah.
Innovative.
Japanese.
Was it Japanese? I thought it was a Chinese.
I think it was in
I read it on Reddit.
Okay.
So I don't know. Could be anything.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But that's crazy story.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. For all of you people out there who are in need of healthcare, it's open enrollment season. Just thought I'd let you know. Drop that on there.
Yeah, get it done before you fall off a mountain. Right,
You definitely don't want to get stuck. You don't want to get stuck being airlifted out of a forest without insurance.
That's right.
You'll be fucked up. I'm so glad I got. I've always got the VA to fall back on.
The VA, yeah.
All this health insurance stuff is crazy because right now, with all my internet marketing stuff, so open enrollment started today. And so I'm driving traffic to these open enrollment offers, right, to get people signed up for healthcare. And some of these premiums have shot up like 100%.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's complaining about.
Man, it's crazy. And every time I think about that, I'm like, fuck, I'm so fortunate that that I got the VA.
Yeah.
Like that's always going to be there, you know. So I feel bad. I feel bad for people because.
So if somebody, you say you're driving traffic over the site.
Yeah.
So if somebody ends up signing up for their insurance through clicking something you clicked on, you get some sort of
commission. Yeah, like $30.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
everybody's got to do it.
Everybody's got to do it. That's why it's such a good time of year for marketing people. Yeah. So I've been doing that. Today was not a good day. So it's brand new because today It started today. I never done open enrollment as a marketer before.
Yeah.
So this is my first time. So I built out these campaigns and started driving traffic, and it wasn't working very well at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, lost like $600 today just from that experience. Collected a lot of data. You know, I look at it that way.
Lesson learned.
Know what to fix. I know what to fix. You know, but yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy environment.
You got to pay for like a lot of places to host like your little advertisements.
No, you know, it's all done in Google. So
okay.
Google AdWords. So it's how Google makes money. It's really their advertising platform.
Sure.
It's an auction-based system. So it's so when somebody gets on Google and they do like a search on their phone, the first 3 results are reserved for advertising.
Okay.
And most people don't realize that. The normal person doesn't realize.
I usually
that.
scroll down past the.
Yeah. A lot of times you'll be like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You know. But ideally, the results they should be just as good, if not better, than what comes up organically.
Yeah.
But so there's a competitive bidding process for those top 3 spots, and I usually have a spot. That's my goal, is to have a spot with an ad that sticks out, or
So somebody types in Obamacare, like I need to sign up.
That's it, man. That's it. Yeah, tap the call my phone number.
You need a picture of old Ted Okie Dokie Bokanogan.
Oh, Ted Okie Dokie Bokanogan. Yeah, no pictures, unfortunately.
Well, that's got to change.
Oh, I know, man. Yeah, so what are we going to do with this YouTube channel? I think we need to get some artwork done.
Yeah, something.
We've been recording them. We just haven't done anything with them.
Yeah, well.
This is number 2.
Officially.
Number 2, and
still a garage tape.
where this is like the garage band. So I'm not really in a big rush to get things kind of pumping until we've got some tunes figured out.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We're just playing with our gear right now.
Man, there's a lot of gear. It seems like this shit just keeps piling up more and more.
Every time I come here, you got something new.
Well, I mean, I want to get the computer working, and like I was saying earlier, I bought some equipment that supposedly handles the signals properly. You know, it does the digital analog signal processing, and so I could split the signal that goes to the recording box and then the signal that goes to the TV, so we can just look at the TV on the wall. Fuck no, that shit ain't working. And those boxes cost a lot of money, so I'm a little bummed. And then I bought this 360 VR camera.
Yeah, you're all excited about that. Yeah, I got excited about it.
Well, so the UPS guy just showed up today, so I could return it.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with it at all.
You said it's just too much. You got to go get an app, and you got to like.
It's not end user friendly, kind of like I would want.
I mean, you tell me you get this camera, and I'm imagining you could just plug it in.
That's the way it should be.
Video it, and then play it.
Well, yeah. So here's the first problem, right? So that's the way. Do
you need a special viewer?
Kinda. Yeah, so this is what happened. So I bought this 360 fly camera, and this is like the first. It's kind of like the early adopter version, the alpha version, the beta version. I want to call it beta version. I'm paying for a camera to test it for them. I buy it. They have an app. That was kind of like the first red flag for me, was like, control everything from the phone. And I'm like, it's like I need to get this thing I need to edit it. I got to put some text in there and stuff. I want to like control everything from a fucking iPhone. So that was kind of like the first red flag, and I couldn't make it work on my iPhone. That was the first thing. So then I got my iPad, and then I download my iPad, and then it doesn't work on that. So I send a support ticket, and the guy says that it won't work on the iPad 3 because the hardware on the iPad 3 is not good enough. So he says you can use the computer. So then I go set it up on the computer, only to find out that it's like cutting in and out when I'm trying to record with it. It's just a nightmare,
I'm getting stressed out just hearing it.
Yeah, so that, and I don't have the patience. Who has patience for that shit anymore?
Time. Yeah.
So I gave it about 20 minutes of that, and I was like, okay, I don't have enough time in my life for this bullshit, so I sent it back.
Maybe in a couple of years they'll get their shit.
Yeah. So I could find another camera too. Yeah. They're trying to compete with the GoPro, I think. So it's like you can mount it to a surfboard and stuff and make it work, but it's supposed to be waterproof. That was another red flag. As soon as I realized it was waterproof, I'm like, oh, I think I got the wrong thing because I don't need a waterproof thing. Yeah. I need something with a high quality lens and a microphone jack.
Yeah.
Oh well, bad mistake.
Later on.
Yeah. So strikes and gutters there, but we're trucking along, man. Pretty sure we can probably have like another person here soon.
Yeah.
We'll just have to clear out some space for it.
That'll be easy. You got plenty of room. Right
Yeah. All these wires running around. I need to clean that up. But
here, let's play a game.
Yeah, man. What
let's
we got?
Go to I'm gonna pull up yahoo.com right here, and we're just gonna comment on whatever that main story is.
Okay.
And they usually rotate.
I like that, man.
All right. 3 generations of Hollywood's, what does it say?
Stun
in portrait.
3 generations of Hollywood stun in portrait.
This looks like a boring one.
It's boring as shit. That is terrible
There's a grandmother.
There's a lame ass. You could
a mother and a daughter all in one.
November 1st.
November 1st.
You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to hit record on the audio side. I guess. Oh well. I had these future plans of someday getting this thing on iTunes. Like a real podcast.
So you have to have a separate file for that, right?
Well, I wanted to make it simple.
Yeah.
I wanted to just pull out the SD card with the audio on it and then insert it in the computer and upload it instead of like going to the video file and trying to extract the audio. So, ain't nobody got time for that shit anymore. Yeah. I don't want to do it. I used to. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
Everything needs to be just easy now.
Yeah.
They got the technology.
Once it's funny. It's like what's the dude's name that ran the first like 4-minute mile? You remember who that is?
I know.
Probably. Anyway, as soon as he did that, then like 10 people the next year did it. Yeah. Right. It's like once you realize how easy something should be.
Yeah.
You don't
want to go back to doing it the hard way.
You don't want to go back to doing it the hard way. And I've realized that's what I've realized.
All I got to do is run faster.
With these consumer products, these things that you're buying from Amazon.com, you shouldn't have to have a computer science degree to make it work.
No.
Unless you like geek out on that kind of thing. Like, this isn't like a Raspberry Pi fucking Linux computer or whatever.
How much time we used to spend on like H2O? What was it called? Your recording software was like something H2O, and we'd cutting and editing and.
Final Cut Pro?
Final Cut. Well, something H2O you had before that. It's something
maybe.
You gave it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I didn't like it.
Yeah, you didn't like it. You gave it to me.
I bought some recording gear and I gave it to you.
Yeah, so I think that's what I used when we were doing the old podcast.
I mean, it works, like for the very, very beginning, easy shit.
But it's way too much work.
Yeah, I didn't like that stuff. No more. No. I just like to record stuff and put it up on the internet and let people sort through it.
Yeah.
Who has the time to fucking edit all this stuff? Well, you know what we need to do is we need to figure out how to outsource it to people. Fiverr. We need to Fiverr all of that work. Yeah. Turns out, here's another. Find myself trying to come up with enough instructions to convey the meaning of what I want done properly.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there is work. Yeah. And that's usually where I fall off too. I'm like, okay, I got to come up with instructions. What can we do to avoid instructions? You know what I'm saying?
We just need everything to happen for us, fall right into our laps. There we go.
We need more professional people around us.
Yeah.
So we don't have to do everything.
We need handlers.
But unfortunately, we're at the garage band level.
Yeah.
Which means nobody gives a fuck.
Bear with us, folks.
Yeah. So, but hey, we got a computer now, so that's a start.
Yeah, we could play a game and talk about the 3 people, but that looks like a really boring story.
Yeah. You know what's funny? You know what's crazy is I was watching that Louis Theroux. I was watching that volcano documentary, and I've here's the thing that's I've been thinking about lately. Because I have I think there's a certain void in my emotional state. There's certain things that I just shut off.
Yeah.
That I death is one of them. Like I don't get too emotional about when people close to me die.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm desensitized to a lot of things that most people get emotional about. And I started asking myself,
cold-blooded son of a bitch.
sociopath. I think that's a sociopathic, mindset. I think. No, I don't know, but what I started asking myself is why is it that I don't have, like when we went to Choice Center, like I got a taste of like probably how I should feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then that went away. I still keep a lot of those values and those tools in my. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today, I don't think, without that place. But but a lot of that emotional stuff seems like it's too much work.
Yeah. I don't want to think about feelings.
I don't want to think about fucking being sad, Not that I would be, but what occurred to me was, in watching that volcano documentary of these villagers, these guys, it's like they have no choice but to deal with shit.
Yeah.
In the first world, in the United States and other Western countries and stuff, we are so pulled away from all of the hard stuff.
Oh yeah.
The struggles.
Just the getting food on your table in a place like that. You
Yeah.
actually having to get out there and work for it.
You have to work for it. You have to hunt. You have to farm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When somebody dies, it's not like you just take them to the crematorium.
Yeah.
Or you have a professional. You call 911 and say, my wife is dead.
Yeah.
You need to come and get her. It's one of these things where you have to deal with it, which means you have this personal connection to stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably where a lot of this is coming from. And I think a lot of people probably feel the same way, where everything is just kind of provided, and even death is kind of something that we kind of disassociate ourselves with. We mourn, but we don't. It's not like we're there preparing the body.
Yeah.
It's not like we're out in the workshop building a casket for this loved one. You're not even connected to anything. And it's like our food, same thing, right? It's like we're not out there hunting, we're not foraging. There's no appreciation. It's just give it to me now. Let's go to the grocery store and buy our steak. It's crazy.
Society of instant gratification.
Yeah, it kind of concerns me on a social level, because I think a lot of us are kind of heading in a sociopathic way. Where we're desensitized. Well, it's the same phenomenon when you're like somebody's in the subway getting their ass kicked, and people are doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it I think is technology.
Technology,
because people are just so exposed to everything. Like before, you don't really know what's going on the other side of the country. You only see what you're around, or other side of the world even. You only see what you're like surrounded by. But now everybody's just enamored with everything going on everywhere. Everybody's got a camera in their pocket.
It's nuts.
And you just see it all the time. You're like, oh, well, I've seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, very few of us. I mean, like philosophy. Philosophy is one thing I'm trying to get into. It's hard. Like I realize, like I don't think like a philosopher thinks.
Yeah.
I've never really sat around and just kind of thought about something long enough, especially at this age where we're in this, like you said, in this technical era where our attention spans are literally like 2 seconds. And I attempt to like focus in on a problem. Or just try to think of something at a deeper level, and it's like a meditation. It's like boom, I'm off onto something shinier and something else. It's nuts. Like it's like you think about the guys like ancient Greece. The philosophers of those days, Socrates and so forth. The other guys that had nothing to do but think about shit,
how people are and how things work.
Yeah. So like, where it's crazy, like to think about where we're heading, in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
Think about in the last 100 years how much society has changed. Just in our lifetime. Think about 30 years ago. We didn't have, when we were kids, we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
There was no...
Yeah, that's kind of strange, isn't it?
Yeah, you tell that to kids nowadays and they just can't even imagine it.
Imagine like 40 years from now, 50 years from now. Okay, no, it's probably going to be longer than that, 60 years from now. It's going to be longer than that. When was the internet? Like 90s, right? 90s is like when the real internet really hit, right? I mean, it was invented in like the 60s, but... That's
when it started to be like
the World Wide Web. Thing. When your dad bought you your first computer.
Yeah, I had Prodigy was my first internet.
Prodigy, AOL and CompuServe. And yeah. And we'll be... like part of that era. And then at some point in history, the last person the last person to live without internet will die.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody after that will have been born with the internet.
Yeah.
Like it's like electricity. It's like you've always had it.
It's so weird meeting people who are like 16 years old now,
Yeah.
right? And they weren't even born at 9/11.
Yeah.
When to me, it doesn't even seem like it was that long ago. You know,
It
it's
seems
such a
like it
trip
was
to
like
think
10
about
years
that.
ago,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like,
And these people have only known war like their entire life.
yeah.
You know, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's weird to be in a state of elevated situational awareness. I don't know what you call it. Like we're in this era of war.
You know, what's weird to think about is there's longer time has passed from now, from 9/11, as from when we were born and JFK was assassinated.
That's weird.
That's weird to think
That's
about.
really weird. Yeah. What was another one I heard?
We're making.
Oh, I
ourselves
think
look
it
old
was
here.
what was it? Dinosaurs? I don't
What
even
about
want-
the
I'm gonna
dinosaurs?
botch it. Yeah, I was gonna botch it. Something about Cleopatra, and she's closer to us than maybe it's the pyramids. She's closer to us in time as she is. Oh fuck it! I don't even remember. Yeah, we're not even gonna go there.
A little too deep.
Yeah, it's too deep. You know, that's another thing I've noticed about myself is I completely botch
Yeah.
everything that I think I know until I say it out loud, and then I realize I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So I got to work on that. That's something I'm not doing a very good job.
So how old do you think the pyramids are?
Well, what's the going age right now?
I think around
6,000 or
Yeah, I
something?
think that's what they're saying, like 4,000 to 6,000 years.
And
The weird thing is, you know, it depends on what you believe, but on the Sphinx, there's water damage
yeah,
that proves that it has to be at least 10,000 years
That's,
old. 'Cause
that's-
they're saying that's how long ago it was before, since the water had flooded that much.
and that thing's been rebuilt a couple of times, hasn't it? The Sphinx.
I'm not sure.
I think it's been restored a number of times.
The
I
whole
think they're
Egyptian
doing it right now.
thing just intrigues me.
It's baffling, huh?
I mean, I can't, like, you go to, say, Luxor in Vegas. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, that's fancy. But there was a time when Egypt was fancy. You know, everything was, like, new. And
Is the Luxor to scale? Like, did they
I
build
think
something? Is it?
I think it is to scale.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Because that's a big ass place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's the pyramids, and that's one thing I never really wrapped my brain around. As fascinating as it is, it's one of those things that I've never really thought about because it's not here.
Yeah.
Desensitized again, pulled away.
Yeah.
You know,
And they're still discovering tombs and more pyramids.
got to get out and travel more.
Yeah.
I think that's my thing. I've been so locked down.
It's not a good time to go to Egypt.
Yeah.
I would love to go there, but
Someday
yeah, someday
when this all blows over
or blows
or
up.
blows up,
Yeah.
and then again there won't be
Probably more
any
likely.
pyramids.
Yeah.
Shit will be gone. Devastation. Yeah, man. I don't know. Places.
Ancient history.
Oh man, I
is
just bumped the camera right there. There it goes.
crazy.
Yeah. What do you think about UFOs? You still
I mean, I definitely believe there's life out there on other planets. I mean,
It has to be
there
somewhere.
has to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to believe in them. I don't think that it's people are getting abducted and like
Yeah.
probed. I don't buy all that.
I think I think you're right. Like I don't believe that. I don't think you know aliens have figured out how to get through space in a timely manner. I just think that's a huge problem. It takes tons and tons and tons of energy to work. You know.
But you never know. Like if there is life on another planet, just the amount of time that they would have to be here to be able to do something like that. But time is just so relative. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
it really
the
is.
way we think, we're like, oh, that's impossible.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I just think we can't even fathom.
Yeah.
You know, what's-
Well, what had me going was you think about how long it takes for light to travel,
yeah.
and it takes I mean literally like the closest star is 1,000 light years away.
Yeah.
I mean just to like wrap your head around 1,000 years it takes light to travel. And what's light travel at? Like I don't know
176,000
180
miles per second. or something.
1,000 meters per second or something like that. God, see here we are.
could
Oh
be
wait,
way
wait,
off.
wait. We got the internet.
We've got the internet. All right, my guess is
Speed of light.
176,000 miles per second.
Mine's 180 times 10 to the
Cubed.
cubed. Oh, this doesn't work. No, here I am thinking.
How about this one?
Did I even plug this thing? Oh, I did plug this right into
I'm going to type it right in here.
speed of light.
We're going to have an answer.
Yeah.
Wikipedia will know the truth.
I want to say it's 1.5 times 10 to the
Cubed.
squared. Cubed.
299,792,458 meters per second.
3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. So it's fast.
Yeah.
It's super fast.
That's what we concluded from all that talk.
It's fast. And you know what's crazy is that it takes 1,000 years for that super fast light beam to travel like to the nearest star, right? And so
You have to use a propulsion method that we don't even know, that we can't even think of yet.
but even if you got a propulsion method to get up to the speed of light,
What kind of method?
a propulsion method, a propulsion method to get up to the speed of light, it still takes 1,000 years to get to the nearest star.
Yeah.
1,000 years. Like, who can survive that, right? So the next thing is like, well, you can fold space, right?
Yeah.
And create a wormhole. But how much energy does that take? And how much time is it going to take to fold that?
I just read that for the first time, scientists have photographed an object coming from a black hole.
What?
That's what it said.
How is that even possible?
I don't know.
I think that's bullshit. Because isn't there such an extreme amount? Isn't it so dense?
It's so dense it sucked things in it.
So dense. The gravity is so large,
It just sucks
so
everything.
massive. It just sucks everything in like a big ass Hoover vacuum cleaner.
It's like trying to push all the mass of the Earth into something the size of a pea.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's nuts.
It's too much. I can't even wrap my little brain around that.
It was on Yahoo News, as much as you could trust those articles.
Highly trustworthy. I trust them like I trust CNN.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or any other media organization.
It's gonna be fun when President Trump builds that wall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some crazy
It's
shit
gonna
going
be a
on.
party.
What's going on with the email thing again? I haven't followed it yet. I don't really care, but I'm curious.
Yeah, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I watch this stuff too much just for, I guess, entertainment value.
Yeah, you're sucked right in, man.
Sucked right in.
Yeah, they got that little dopamine tickler inside your brain, and they're just like, we know you like this shit.
No, you know what it is I didn't watch the news for probably I used to watch it a lot, and then for 5 or 6 years since I moved up here, I got rid of cable, haven't watched much TV at all, no
you
news.
just live in the hills.
Then when I broke my foot and I was stored up in the hospital here 3 or 4 months ago, it was during the time of both the Republican and Democratic National Convention. So it was literally all that was on TV for like the whole week or so I was in there. And so
It does suck you in.
that's
though,
what I watched.
man.
And
Yeah.
it's just like watching a show where you like watch 2 or 3 episodes of it, you get invested in the characters, you're like, I gotta keep watching to see what's going on the next episode.
See how this
Lost.
unfolds, man. Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. But I've kind of lost interest because it's so crazy.
It is nuts, man.
I mean, it just keeps getting crazier. But then you think that, these are who's going to be running the country, for the next few years. It's just
well, it's
speechless.
One thing. So it's interesting to me because, well, it should be interesting to everybody because one, you have what, Julian Assange and his WikiLeaks organization releasing. These guys are like. It's ironic that they are like the liberators of truth.
Well, this last thing isn't even related to Julian Assange.
So
much.
yeah, what is going on with this last thing?
Well, you know how Hillary Clinton has been in trouble for being careless with confidential or classified material.
Mm-hmm.
And
she's good at that.
And that's
yeah.
being, that's being nice, I guess. Now because they had a trial back in July or some sort of hearing where they said, yeah, she had all this classified information in places where it shouldn't have been, but we're not going to try to prosecute her. He said no reasonable prosecutor would, of course, because she'd probably have him killed.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
No, we won't talk about that right now. We don't want to die.
Yeah, we don't want to die. So now, you know who Anthony Weiner is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Anthony Weiner is married to Huma Abedin.
Okay.
And that is like Hillary Clinton, one of her best friends and top aides.
Oh, really?
And so when Anthony Weiner recently got in trouble here, like a month ago or a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, more dick pics, right?
To a teenager.
Oh, boy.
So the feds came in and confiscated his laptop, which I guess he was sharing with Huma Abedin, and now they think they found some of these because remember, there's like 33,000 at least emails that she deleted after they were going to have the hearing. Like, what are you doing with this emails that you shouldn't have your own server and all this?
Yeah.
So she tried to get rid of it. And that's what, like, Julian Assange was saying. Like, oh, she got rid of all these emails. There's all this proof because this is all their email. And we don't know what's in these emails or what they found. They haven't said yet because they're like, we have to do this investigation. But we found something like...
So now it makes a little more sense.
Yeah, so why... Like,
so the timing is bad for her.
For her.
Because obviously it looks bad. It looks like they're reopening this investigation. It could be nothing, right? I mean, it could just be a...
The thing is, the guy who reopened it said, like, a few weeks ago when they talked about if he'd ever reopen it, he's like, well, something significant would have to be found.
Oh, to justify
it.
So
they've had, I mean, they're not saying it yet because they're not, they've probably got to finish their investigation. But they had to have found something.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, I mean, here's our options, right?
Yeah.
We're either going to have the most corrupt criminal person we've ever had in the White House, or we're going to have a reality TV star.
Oh my God!
And that's our option.
So crazy.
Seems like it's funny.
It's so crazy. And then didn't another Democratic is it DNC Democratic
DNC
chairman or something or some sort of correspondent or spokesperson?
Yeah, one of the head people of the DNC. Yeah, maybe the head. I'm not a political person. I just kind of I've been watching for a couple months. Listen here.
Come on, Rush Limbaugh.
This is the truth.
What the hell's going on in there?
Well,
Hannity?
They got caught. You can call me Alex Jones because I am pissed.
Come on, Hannity. Tell me what you got.
So anyway,
yeah.
Where was I?
So this lady, I heard she was lobbying. She basically gave.
So she worked for CNN, but she's also a head person of
DNC.
The DNC. And she got caught for 2 different debates, giving her the questions.
The questions in advance.
Yeah, but I mean, the media is always going to be in the pockets of the.
I would have thought they would have gave the questions in advance to both, honestly, because they didn't want to. I figured they're just lobbing softballs. I don't watch the debates either. I have no idea what the hell's going on there.
Oh, dude, it's a big sham.
Is it? Yeah, that's kind of why I don't watch it. I could tell right off the bat that this is ridiculous. Why waste my time with it?
Yeah, it's just like a war of two factions. And the media is terrible, and I don't know. It's all just. And what's funny to me is all these people. You go online, you go on Facebook, and people are getting pissed. Like
they're emotional about it, aren't they?
Yeah, you post like I support Hillary or I support Trump, and then people are like, you're an idiot, and I'm taking you off my friend. And these people are best friends for a long time.
That's silly.
Like, I don't post anything political, never.
It's kind of annoying after a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, I avoid it because I just, I don't trust the government anyway. I say, it don't matter who's going to get president. They're just a figurehead. But I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. But
goddamn sun is in my face. Right. I got to work on this light.
I'm looking at the lines on your forehead.
I'm trying to figure out a way to... Let me switch the camera. Oh man, what happened to the camera? There it is. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to.
I just saw them.
This is fucked. This is fucked.
This is quality material here, folks.
Hold on, I think I could fix it real quick. So you just got to keep talking.
All right, let's see.
Act normal.
I'm gonna act normal. I'm gonna commentate on everything Gene's doing. He's getting out of his chair. He's taking his headphones off, and he's walking toward the door.
I got the black thing here.
He's got the black thing there. A sheet.
A black sheet.
He has a black sheet. He's in the closet, so I can't see him at the moment. Oh, I'm merely speculating. Now he is pulling a thumbtack out.
I think we're good. I just need one more thumbtack.
This studio by episode 100 is going to be a lot nicer.
Maybe we won't be. Maybe we won't even be in this room.
We'll be in an office. We'll be in a Cruisio space.
Maybe we'll be on a cruise ship.
A cruise ship. A Disney princess cruise. They've combined forces.
I think that's just a great idea. Wouldn't that be fun if
We've done a podcast on a ship before.
What's that?
Part of one. I said, didn't we do a part of a podcast on a ship before on the USS Hornet?
Oh, we did. Yeah, we were talking about.
It was docked.
Super haunted.
We saw a bunch of ghosts there with.
So haunted. Oh my God.
Amy Bruni has her own show now.
She does?
I heard it on some podcast the other day.
Like a TV show?
Yes, a TV show. Well, she got on with the ghost hunters there for a while.
That's just a good testimony to, like, if you just keep showing up to shit,
Yeah.
eventually something's gonna land.
That's right. I mean, how long can you talk about ghosts and nothing happens?
Yeah, how long can you, like, go on that kick and continue to believe it?
I mean, we did the ghost hunting type stuff for how many years? I don't know. 5 years, 6 years.
For like a whole year.
Yeah, not ghost hunting, paralore. It was more like I wouldn't even say parody, but we did a lot of ghost hunting parody.
Yeah, I mean, we did some. See, I fixed it.
Yeah, all right.
It wasn't
Problem
so
solved.
much that it was. I mean, we're not journalists by any stretch.
We are
It
not.
was kind of like an approach to like trying to figure out some stuff.
It was like Louis Theroux
Yeah.
going into the ghost hunting world, seeing what's going on. There we go.
I did it. I fixed it. See.
All right. No more squinting,
Hey,
no more
all
weird
right.
lines on the forehead. We are back.
Hey, all right. Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. Where's she at on here? Do you remember how to spell her name?
Who are you looking for?
Amy Bruni.
Bruni.
So this is. Look at that. It's hilarious.
Was it the USS Hornet that we met her on?
Yeah. That's funny.
I remember we sent her also like a box of pendulums. Or
Look at
something
this.
like that.
Final episode date, October 2016. This year, 26.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Final episode. They just ended.
Of Ghost Hunters.
How many years did that go?
Dude, they went from
12 years.
God damn. How in the hell can you keep something like that going?
Yeah. You know, when they first started,
amazing.
I think they were a lot more legit in the fact that that's actually what they did, was
Yeah.
going out and, like, disproving ghosts. Or not disproving, but,
Yeah.
you know, but then they got into where you could see them moving shit.
Those goddamn
you know?
producers.
Yeah. Money, dude.
They're like, Bob, or whoever they are, I forgot their names, Grant and Jason. It's like, you guys need to actually find some ghosts because we can't keep this shit up for too long.
Yeah. People aren't going to keep wanting to watch if nothing happens.
Yeah. But what's funny is that they still keep this shit going, man.
Dude, they bought a hotel. I mean,
They're professionals. These are professionals. They got a niche, paranormal, ghost hunting stuff. But to keep that going, like you said, buy a hotel, brand it, turn it into like a money machine.
dude, some of the hotels that they went to,
Yeah.
like, take Crescent Hotel in Arkansas, for example.
Oh yeah, right.
'Cause I've been going, like when I go back, my mom lives in Arkansas, so every year I go back there. We went and stayed at the Crescent Hotel, which was supposedly haunted.
Right.
Then when these guys got big, they went in and like investigated the hotel, and they saw a spirit down in the attic, like in their thermal cameras. Like,
Oh,
outlined the
right.
guy. And now that place has doubled their prices.
Yeah.
And this is like 10 years later.
Yeah.
You know, they've like, it's just a totally different place now. And then you go in there and it's buy the Ghost Hunters DVD from our hotel 10 years ago, and our shirt that says, there was a ghost here. I don't know. I'm still in pirate voice from Halloween.
But it's
I
also a
keep
good
slipping
ghost.
back into
It's
it.
also a good ghost,
Good
voice.
Remember Big Jim?
Big Jam. Oh.
What was his name?
Well, who was it?
When we did a ghost tour in San Francisco, like,
Oh, right. That was a good
fun.
tour, though.
That was fun.
He's a good storyteller.
Yeah.
That guy. I'm busy trying to light you up a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that.
Ooh, warm.
That's good, man. That looks pretty dramatic. See, I got one kind of going, a nice glow,
There you go.
and now you have a nice glow.
You're very radiant.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, let me look at me.
Let's just keep it. Let's just keep it here for a while. I like this. I could hit the space bar if I do this correctly, and I could switch between the two.
All right.
But it's important to have somebody else do this because I lose focus
Yeah.
maintaining this
That's
baloney.
right. We'll use it for now.
Yeah. Well, we should start our own Ghost Hunter show. We could talk about the haunted pyramids.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
ship
but
is
I mean, that show ended, and she is starting another one. So people are still interested in this.
yeah. It's if you think about it, I mean, it's one of those niches that's been around since like the beginning of mankind.
I mean, people are always going to be interested in the afterlife because it's
Yeah.
it's stuff you're never going to know, right? It's the one thing you can't.
Curiosity is big,
Yeah.
and then of course we all have this natural inclination to believe in a higher power in a lot of ways. Not all of us, but most people.
Yeah.
Most people, they believe in the Jesus, and they believe in the Holy Spirit, so forth, and life after death.
Life after death. Yeah.
Being
Sales.
raised to the new.
Life after death sales. It does.
It sails. You remember what life was like before you were born?
I do.
Can you you care to explain?
It was very dark and cold and lonely.
It was warm and wet. That's all I remember.
I remember exactly 9 months before I was born.
Yeah, you're probably not going to remember much after you die either.
You know what? What is your earliest memory? I think I can remember being 2 years old.
Really? That early? That's amazing.
And I don't know if I remember the actual, like, being 2 years old, or if I remember, like, the photos. But I think I can remember being 2 years old.
I have, a faint recollection of being around 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
I think that's about as far back as I go. And very sporadic. I think, our memories are terrible anyway, right? Just scientific fact that our memories are shit. So what I think I remember probably isn't accurate. But I got this funny, I can remember this vividly, like this one situation where I had a bow and arrow as a kid, like 4 or 5 years old. And when I was a kid, see, times were different, right? When we were kids.
Yeah, you have a weapon.
I could have for one, I had a weapon.
Was it a real? It didn't have a suction cup?
It was a legit bow and arrow. I mean, it was like a manly bow and arrow.
I just got my first real bow and arrow.
I mean, it wasn't a compound bow or anything, but it was like your crazy, it was like your old school bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And you could shoot shit and you could kill shit. In fact, I used to probably go out and shoot and kill shit as a kid because, again, it was a different time, right? And I think maybe I'm just full of shit, but I think we're a little more mature
as a people.
Like our generation was probably more mature as 8 and 9 year olds as today's generation is 8 or 9 year olds, right?
Yeah,
that's my guess.
That, yeah.
I guess I can imagine that my parents, their generation, was probably even more mature. Like you could leave them alone at like 5, 6 years old, and they would take off and go to school, and you wouldn't see them for like until dinner time.
Yeah. At
like 5 or 6, because that's when my parents were with me.
Yeah, I mean things were just like instilled into people differently then,
Yeah, I mean I remember like I had my bike. I had a bicycle at like 5 or 6 years old. I would ride it to school, and then I would come home. There was a time where I didn't like school, so I would ditch.
Yeah.
I would literally take off to school, walking to school at like 5 or 6 years old, first grade, and I would go hang out in a field until it was time to go home.
Ditch school that young?
Yeah. And I did it for about a month until I got caught.
Yeah.
What happened was I seen a kid that was in my class going home, like his mom. I seen him drive by as I was hanging out in the field. I was in the field, like in the weeds, like hiding, like a little 5, 6 year old kid hiding in the weeds. And I see them drive by, and I'm like, oh, it's time to go home. So then I leave and I go home, and it's like 11 o'clock. And it was probably like 3 hours of hanging out in the field, and way too early, right? Yeah. So of course they catch me. My mom's like, "What are you doing home?" And I'm scrambling to come up with an answer, and it was obvious I was lying.
Yeah.
So she calls the school, and the school's like, "Yeah, he hasn't been here for like 3 weeks." So a big teacher.
Long?
Yeah, and it was funny is my dad ended up chewing out the school and the teacher because for some reason I was just petrified of going into class. Yeah. So he was pretty pissed. I wasn't really blamed for it.
Well, you're only 5.
Yeah. But before I got off on that tangent, this vivid memory of me shooting a bow and arrow in this empty field next to the house that I lived in as a kid. And I go to grab the arrow and I look up and I see all of this army, like aircraft. Like it was a parade. That's how I remember it, like this parade of helicopters and jets and airplanes just kind of going over me as I'm kind of looking up, and it just seemed like go on forever. It was kind of like a weird thing, and I was like 5 years old, 4 or 5.
So was this just? I mean, this was around Palmdale, right? Little Rock.
No, this is like in Oregon. Because I was born in Oregon.
So is there a base out there, or do you know any of the details?
Yeah, I think there's Camp Pendleton or something. No, maybe
Camp
not.
Pendleton's in
California, San Diego. Oh yeah, there's an Army depot up there. There's like some training stuff.
Okay.
It was probably like one helicopter, 2 helicopters, probably 2 helicopters in some kind of formation, but my imagination just kind of went wild. But that's like the most That's the earliest thing I could remember.
Okay.
And it's completely, you can tell, it's like bananas.
Yeah.
Right? What else?
The thing I think I can remember from being 2 is just my birthday cake.
Birthday cake.
And like something about Fred Flintstone. Like I think I had like a Fred Flintstone shirt on, or maybe that was the theme of the birthday cake. I don't really remember, but I have just a very vague memory.
You remember like anybody singing happy birthday to you? Or maybe it was just a picture?
Then, yeah. Other than that, like I definitely have memories from being 5 because I can remember kindergarten.
Oh.
You know, but.
Yeah. Oh, now that you remember. It's weird how like, you know, those memories are just, they're in there somewhere. There's an untapped network of neurons that just haven't been firing in years and years and years. And now that we're talking about it, I'm kind of thinking about kindergarten.
Yeah.
And, like nap time.
And remembering things.
Tetherball and shit.
I wish they still had nap time.
Oh, man. We all need a little more nap time.
That's the first thing I said. I mean, when I got over here today, I was like, dude, I'm tired.
I need a nap.
I need a nap.
Yep. Well, yeah, staying up till like 8, midnight?
Yeah.
And then getting up to work at like 6?
Yeah, I mean, normally 6
We can't do that
hours
as grown-ups anymore.
Yeah. Too old for that shit.
Too old for that shit. Yeah, man.
Too old. You said something. Yeah, you said something a few minutes ago that reminded me of a story I wanted to tell.
Oh, yeah?
What was the tangent you went off on?
Well, I was talking about...
Talking about your bow and arrow, and then you went off on a tangent of some kind.
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
We're proving our point, how short our attention spans are. How bad memory really is.
It's welcome to 2016 going on 2017, the 2-second Twitter attention span.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. It's one of those things that kind of concern me a little bit. I think I need to strike a little more balance there. Maybe get into meditation a little bit, get away from the technology some, because yeah, I've been finding out that my attention span's getting worse and worse. I'm reading less and less.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't feel like I have the time to like sit back and enjoy a book or something.
Yeah.
Like I should be doing something else. And when I do read something, I get bored within like 5 minutes.
I have like 4 books I'm reading right now, and I haven't, I get like halfway into all of them.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh man, where was I at? I get confused what was happening in which one.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
It's fun. Sometimes I do get into like when I'm in a little growth spurt, like an interpersonal growth spurt or something. The first thing I do is I start reaching for books, and I find everything I can so I can kind of figure out what it is I'm about to tackle is about. I'm getting better at that, but yeah, you get into like 4 books at one time, and it just becomes a big blur.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took this speed reading course from this guy Howard Berg. He's like the world's fastest speed reader. And I bought his course off of Udemy. Have you ever been to Udemy?
Uh-uh.
So Udemy is like it's a place on the internet where you can basically any topic, that you can think of, they probably have a course for it.
Yeah.
Which is really nice, right? So some expert put together some kind of course. And so I bought the speed reading one off of there, and it's like him doing like a PowerPoint presentation or something. But what's cool is that it really does work. Like if you take the time to go through the exercises and you spend a month and you focus on speed reading,
yeah,
you definitely get really fast.
Isn't it just like you're scanning, like looking at keywords and
something
like that?
Yeah, it's. Well, first of all, you can increase your speed by just using your hands, like your hand to like follow the words. The faster you move your hands, like the faster your eyes get at scanning. And then he's got some exercises. It's been quite a while. I think like if I start reading, I could probably pick it back up pretty quick. It's like riding a bike in some ways.
Sure.
But a lot of it is exercise, like physical exercise on the muscles of your eyes, because your eyes got to get used to kind of moving.
Quick.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and that's usually what your hand is helping for.
Yeah.
Your eyes are following it, and then you just do his exercises, and then eventually it just gets faster and faster. And then he does these little chunking exercises where you look at like 3 or 4 words at a time, and you get a gist of it by just seeing an image of it.
Yeah.
Like you're not processing the words. Like that says rock star.
Yeah.
You just kind of see it for a second, and then you let your brain look at it like it was an image, as if you're looking at a picture of a rock star or something.
Sure.
And after a while, you start to use kind of pictures instead of trying to internalize and
Every word.
yeah, which most people do because they're reading inside their head out loud.
My problem is I'm reading and then I start thinking about something.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I've read like 3 or 4 pages and I can't tell you one thing I've read on it.
Yeah, that's usually what happens when you're reading a boring ass book.
Yeah, and then you're just looking at the words, you're kind of saying them, but your mind is somewhere else.
Yeah, I get this thing where I'm like in a competition to finish the book.
Yeah.
That's my problem. It's like I'm not sitting back and trying to just absorb anything. I'm trying to get through it as fast as I can, and that's bad.
The best time, the best I ever liked reading was when I was at Knowles last year. It was like this wilderness thing,
You have permission to like read.
Yeah, because you're out in the wilderness. There's no.
What else are you gonna do?
There's no amenities of any kind, right? And it was for a month. So at night, I'd pick up a book and I'd read like 20, 30 pages every night, and then that was really enjoyable. Because then I was really into it. I kind of looked forward to it all the time.
Was it, were you kind of under the stars and everything? Was it like...
I was in my tent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd read in the tent.
Yeah, that's so nice, man. See, that's another thing. Like more camping, more outdoor stuff. Get away from the technology a little bit. Try to find some balance. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I think I'm just kind of like...
Yeah, you should take a trip with me to Yosemite.
I know. I probably won't do any climbing.
No, well, the next time I go there, I probably won't be doing any climbing either. I've been healing for a while, but it's one of the funnest places to go ride a bike.
Is it?
Yeah, just for some like moderate bike riding.
I'll just take my beach cruiser. I don't have a mountain bike anymore.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I got out of it.
Yeah.
I got into this phase where I was like cleaning out everything.
You know what you do more than anyone I know is get a bunch of stuff and then you're over it and then you get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm good for that.
And then like 3 or 4 years later you'll get back into it.
Yeah,
get some more.
Well, I know with a lot of I don't like it sitting in my closet or in my garage in my closet. I don't like looking at it because then I feel guilty because it's like, oh, there's another abandoned thing that you started, and the technology stuff like the equipment it becomes obsolete.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, God, that's a big mistake. If you're not going to use the equipment, get rid of it as fast as you can because
while it's still worth something.
At least you can pawn it for some money and maybe break even or even lose a little bit of money. But after a while, you're just got to throw it away.
Yeah.
So, I did that with music over and over and over so many times.
Yeah.
I finally gave up on
music.
What's that?
I go through phases with music where I play it a lot.
Yeah.
And then I don't, and then I forget everything.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like I'll learn a song. And then I'll be like, got that song down. And then I'll go like 3 weeks and not play it ever again. I won't play it for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then the only ones that you've played like enough to always remember, you're just sick of.
Yeah. 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 God, it's so weird. Yeah. Having a music talent, I don't know. I think you and I, maybe we just kind of take it for granted because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
We're both not like master level musicians or anything. I mean, we just fuck around.
Yeah.
But we've been doing it for like 20 something years playing music, so most people are like, fuck you guys, wow. But we're like,
Yeah, one or the other.
It's, but what kind of blows me away, because I was really into recording stuff, right? I really got into that. I thought that's what I wanted to do. And that's when it also occurred to me that I can't be good at everything.
Yeah.
Because I really like doing that stuff. I really like the audio engineering stuff, but I was so bad at it. Like I would listen to my work and I'd be like, God, that sucks. It doesn't, everything sucks. The mixing sucks. Everything sucks. It sounds good to me in my environment, but then when you take it out into like a car or something, you're like, that sucks. And
it's hard. I've never been able to do recording at all either.
It's it definitely helps. It's like anything. It's like if you want to get good at it, you got to go find somebody who knows what they're doing.
They can make people that aren't that talented musicians sound great.
Oh man, it's amazing.
With a good
we could sound awesome. Yeah. I was like not to toot my own little horn, but when I was doing the Berkeley stuff, I was really immersed into it. I mean, I was singing and playing, and then everything was so like I was leveraging all of the processing, all of the gear, and you listen to it and you're like, well, that's not half bad.
Was that the Coyote Douglas?
Yeah,
days?
I was doing like the Coyote Douglas, through my Berkeley music.
Yeah.
I had to have a persona.
Yeah,
I wasn't really going to go out on the edge and say it was me.
Coyote Douglas.
Yeah, Coyote Douglas. But yeah, man. So, but then I realized I was like, okay, if you really want to be good at this stuff, you have to. You definitely have to. I think I think that's a talent. That's a talent.
Oh, sure.
It's not like, oh, you can just learn it. I think you got to have the ears for it.
Yeah.
Honestly, you definitely do. Like Aaron Cooper.
Yeah.
Aaron's a tattoo guy up in Santa Cruz. If you ever want to get some tattoos done, go see Aaron. He's a Good Omen Tattoo.
Good Omen Tattoo.
He was a drummer in my rock and roll band. He still plays, and but he's got really good ears. Like he's the guy that doesn't. Well, now he's got the education, but before he was the guy that could just listen to something and tell you what was wrong with it.
Sure.
And so you combine that with some education, and it's like you're powerful. Like I could never do that. Like I was the knob turner. You know, I was like, oh, I could turn the knobs, and I could
just up the knob.
I'll just up the gain, 2 dB, or all this equipment, right?
Yeah.
All this equipment is the stuff that I was good at, but the artistic part of it I was not good at.
Yeah.
I just didn't have that skill and or that talent.
Well, that's why we're doing podcasts.
But that's why we're doing this now, right? So if you could think of like my indulgence in this kind of audio video, like we're coming back into cycle.
Yeah.
Here we are again. I'm interested. Instead we're instead of recording music, we're recording podcasts.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years we'll probably be like, remember we did that podcast?
Yeah.
Let's get together and play this song.
Yeah.
We're gonna know how to play that concertina.
It'd be like, oh yeah.
I got the book.
You did?
It just came in like yesterday. I haven't looked
Oh
at it
man,
yet.
so you got some pirate tunes in there or something?
I don't know. It's just like Anglo. What's the thing? Concertina. Anglo concertina for beginners.
The Anglo.
1, 2, 3.
Is that the white guy version?
I guess.
I don't know where that instrument comes from anyway. Do you know? Concertina.
Nah, I don't know.
I could look it up.
But apparently it's not an actual pirate instrument because they did not exist until the mid 1800s.
What? That's bullshit.
That's what I read.
Well, we won't tell anyone. I want to get like a Wikipedia page. There it is.
Concertina.
So my wife bought me one of these. And I spent about 15 minutes, and I realized ain't nobody got time for this shit. And I went into my closet. She spent a lot of money too. I love my wife, man. She's so nice. But she tends to buy things that she thinks I want.
Well, the good news is I wanted one, so now I get to borrow his and decide.
Yeah, you see this is interesting, right? See how he's got all this space here?
Those buttons are different. Your buttons go up and down that way.
Yeah, I found it kind of hard to, like, it just didn't feel right in my hands. And maybe it's just the concertina. I don't know.
That one wasn't the Anglo one, I don't believe.
Yeah, 1829, huh?
1820.
English version. Maybe that's the version, the Anglo version. Anglo-Saxon version. Probably this dude right here. Anyway, it's fascinating. Anyway, another tangent right there.
Another tangent. I remember the story, even though it's not relevant anymore.
What's that?
You were talking about ditching school.
Oh.
Like as a kindergartner.
Oh, yeah, because I was talking about how it's just, you don't see that anymore.
That was
right?
like being 5 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah. 5 or 6. And what is it? I'm gonna put the camera on me because it adds more dramatic effect. I think. Yeah. Well, what was crazy was I would go away all day long. Like I remember that. I remember I could leave on my bicycle and have free reign of the world.
Yeah.
And I did. I mean, I took that thing. I went far. We would go really far. It was where I grew up where I was as a kid was this. Where the Columbia River is in Washington and Oregon. So the Columbia kind of splits between Washington and Oregon. There's this area called the Tri-City area up there, and that's like the north. Where is it? Well, in Washington, it would be like the southeast.
Okay.
And so it's kind of an arid desert. I didn't even hear that. It's kind of an arid, deserty area, and they have a dam for the Colorado River, and we'd ride our bikes down to this dam, which is like miles away.
This is 5 or 6
I was like
years
5 or
old.
6 years old. I was smoking cigarettes at like 6. Because I was running.
Human.
I was running with the bad kids, like 12 years old, 13-year-old bad kids, and this is what lack of supervision, Well, I mean, it wasn't bad parenting. It was just my mom, and she. It
was definitely more laid back.
You have to figure that my parents at the time, when I was born, my parents were 15, 16 years old.
True.
Yeah,
your parents are young.
And I think by the time I was that age, they had 4 children.
Yeah.
So 4 kids, right? So like the last thing they had on their mind was like the oldest kid. What's he up to?
Yeah.
They probably were like, In fact, I don't even think my dad was around. I think he was in the state of Texas working, right? Yeah. That's kind of like the gypsy lifestyle that we had. So he would take off and go do work and then probably send money back to my mom.
Yeah.
And so my mom had the household with all the kids, like 4 kids, and she's probably in her early 20s, you know, by that time, right? And so I had pretty much free reign. I was the man of the house at 5, you know, so I would take off, and we would get into all kinds of shit. I got caught smoking cigarettes at like 6. Lit a place on fire. I lit not a house on fire, a nice big field on fire next to a golf course.
A little hoodlum, weren't you?
Wasn't really, and it was kind of unintentional.
Were you one of them super predators?
Yeah, I wanted to smoke cigarettes and I couldn't find one, so I grabbed a straw. I was 6 years old and I wanted to smoke cigarettes. It's hilarious. Wow. And yeah, I was playing with fire. I was playing with matches pretty much in the field somewhere, and I caught something on fire and just got away from me. It's crazy.
My dad went and worked in Saudi Arabia. Did you know that when I was a kid?
What?
My dad went and worked in Saudi Arabia.
What was he doing there, man? That place is crazy. Have you seen that documentary on Netflix?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Fuck.
I haven't seen it on there.
That place is retarded.
Yeah, they said he told me that when he got there, they searched all his stuff, and anything he had that was from Sears, they wouldn't even let him keep.
From Sears?
Yeah.
Why?
I guess it was Jewish owned or something.
No way, really? Yeah, those are lunatics. They
got all kinds of. It's just a weird place. But he went back there for. He was a fireman, but he worked at airports, so he was like fire rescue.
Oh, right. Well, at least he didn't have to go too far into town or anything.
I think he was supposed to be back there for a year, but it seems like it was like 6 months.
How did he get on that gig? What was he doing there? Just a program or something for his work?
Through his work.
I bet it paid good.
I don't remember. I was 4.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago. But yeah, he did it for like 6 months, and then he came back. And at that time, I'd lived in Arkansas for 6 months.
Oh, yeah?
That was during that 6 months.
Wow.
Because that's where my mom's from, so we went back there and lived.
Oh, okay.
And then when he came back, we went back out to California.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia, dude, that's a scary place. It's so, and of course, it's so funny that they're like allies of ours. Yeah. It's amazing how deep the money runs, you know? Because they're set, like their human rights is atrocious. They're killing people, cutting their hands off, cutting their arms off, and you know, you're innocent.
Yeah, I saw like I think it was on YouTube a video the other day where they had caught somebody who had stolen.
Yeah.
And they chopped his hand off right in the street. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Terrible, but maybe that's what people need sometimes.
Yeah, well, obviously it doesn't work too well. I mean, everybody's getting their hands cut.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Sometimes you just need to go ahead and just play it strong.
Yeah.
Just kill them right there in the middle of the road. Yeah. Send a strong message.
We don't need no jury.
We don't need no jury. We need Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd. Did I just move your camera?
Yeah, you just bumped it. But that's okay. I got to get all this kind of figured out, right? Now you're breaking shit. Oh, so you can't even see it. There we go. Yeah, I'm okay.
Oh, you're right.
I'm all right. Yeah.
I fixed it, actually.
Actually, thank you. Thank you. You're a gentleman and a scholar, good sir.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So, I don't know. I'm not going to Saudi Arabia anytime soon. They don't like anything over there that's, see, that's another thing, right? It just kind of goes against, like, fundamental human needs and desires. There's just, like, they completely shut off those things, man. You know? And then they punish you by fucking cutting stuff off and murdering you, you know? Cutting your head off with a sword.
Dude, like North Korea. North Korea, Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
First of all, his wife hasn't been seen in like 9 months.
So the talk there is like she may be pregnant, so they're keeping it under wraps. Which kind of makes sense because he needs to have a kid, right?
Could be.
So
makes sense. Yeah.
But then he is a sociopath.
Also, his
psychopath.
His uncle by marriage, like his aunt's husband.
Yeah.
Who's also in the government, fell asleep during a meeting.
They killed him, right?
They killed him with anti-aircraft gun.
With an anti-aircraft gun, which is probably some kind of 25 millimeter.
I don't know. It's
caliber weapon or something.
He's just like a crazy person with like really expensive toys.
You ever watch? Yeah, I have a feeling he thinks of himself as a god.
Yeah.
Kind of like Genghis Khan did during his reign. Because oh man, did you watch that Marco Polo movie on documentary?
I watched a few episodes of it, but I haven't like.
So the thing that blew my mind about that show, it was a good show up until like the second season, and then I got kind of bored with it.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about it was, and I don't know how I got to listen to that Dan Carlin stuff. Have you ever listened to Dan Carlin's podcast?
Like
I got to revisit. Again, another shiny object, right? You start and then you kind of don't finish. But with the mindset of this guy, right? And this dynasty. I think I talked about this before. I don't know about dynasties. You know, just imagine generations and generations of family wealth and controlling all of the land.
Dude, we're there. We're there right here in America.
Man, yeah, kind of, but not like this, right?
No, yeah.
Where I'm gonna change the camera. Why does it keep changing? There we go. But yeah, the idea that you could have the mindset that you're like a god, and everybody is telling you that you're a god.
Yeah, I mean, you believe it.
It lends you to do these crazy things, and he's got a god complex. That Kim Jong-un.
I think power corrupts everybody.
Absolute power corrupts.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's a wise saying, and you see it. Yeah. That's another thing. I think we went off on a tangent because I wanted to touch on how ridiculous our political system, our whole system is in the United States. Yeah. And it's funny because
that's un-American.
We're kind of coming full circle, right? Because I was talking about Julian Assange and stuff. Yeah. Like these guys normally would have been. They would have been ostracized as like the evildoers, right? But they end up becoming kind of heroes in a lot of ways because they're revealing to us. They're like pulling the veil down. They're going, no man, this whole fucking thing is
lying to you.
Complete. It's so toxic that they believe their own shit.
I mean, there's still a lot of people out there that want to have Julian Assange killed.
Oh yeah,
away,
yeah. Oh, and then the conspiracy theories are amazing, right? Like he works with the Russians. This is a whole Russian inside job, just like the thing with Edward Snowden. They're all like, they're like Russian pawns in this big, huge political like.
I mean, the thing is, whoever they blame it on,
yeah,
that is the truth, right? That's their emails. They're not really denying that.
You can't.
What they're putting out there.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
They're just
regardless,
throw it off on.
Regardless of who the messenger is, the fact of the matter is. But then, of course, there was the talk that the Russians have been known for manipulating, the content in which they're revealing.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I don't know what to.
But they're not denying any of it.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy is we can all agree that whole political system is completely toxic. It's completely crooked. It's completely rigged, and we all know that from the outside looking in, it's this way, but from the inside looking out, that's business as usual for them. They're so embedded in their own bullshit. It's like going into the Deep South, being an atheist, right? And everybody and you're going into the Deep South, and everybody's like super hardcore, Baptist or something.
Yeah.
They're just super ultra religious. They're living in a bubble, and it's just one big circle jerk. They're just constantly feeding off of each other. And you almost don't even want to say anything because it's like they'll fucking bite my head off. Even if I challenge them in a scientific way with facts, it's not going to work here. You're in the wrong spot for that.
Yeah.
And I get the same thing. It's like the same feeling with like the politics in D.C.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody is so sure of how this is how it's going to work. These are the rules, even though it's completely unethical and completely wrong and violates all kinds of stuff.
It's so corrupt, man.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
It's so corrupt.
So, and not only that, I mean, what this election has done for us is it's basically proven that the whole system doesn't work. Yeah. The whole system's broke.
Yeah, I've been debating whether I wanted to vote at all.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to. I probably will now that just a few days away. But I honestly don't think that it means anything.
It's more symbolic than anything, right?
And people get mad to hear people say that. They say, how dare you? This is what America stands for. It's a democracy.
Yeah, they don't get it.
And I agree with them. I think that everything is so fake.
Yeah. It's rigged, man. It's like you said, it's phony. There's no human beings running the show, man. They're robots.
And when I say rigged, I don't think there's necessarily one side rigging it. I think both of them. It's a contest of who could rig it better.
Yeah, like again, it comes back to that culture of just unethical, like atrocities, right? It's just the way they are. They can't even see it from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Like the RNC and the DNC are back and forth doing all this corrupt, hokey bullshit. And they don't even realize, they're probably not even realizing it, that what they're doing can get them in trouble in a lot of ways. I think they're just doing it like it's business as usual. And then until somebody from the outside exposes it and says, hey, you dummies, you can't be doing this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's why that's kind of what created Donald Trump, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, because he's going out there saying, this is rigged, that's rigged, and then people are saying, oh, you can't be saying that. But then there's a ton of people out there who believe it is. Like, well, this guy's saying it, so I'm going to follow him.
Well, you know, the thing with Donald Trump is I can agree with him on that, but he's just the wrong character for the job.
Oh, yeah.
He's a complete cartoon character.
He's
right. He's definitely right. And most of the stuff he says, except for all the bullshit lies about how he's going to bring jobs back and stuff when he's guilty of like sending jobs away.
Yeah.
You know, all of that baloney. He's absolutely right. The system's rigged. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the Republicans didn't even want him in there.
Yeah.
You know, he had a hard time getting, like, the nomination.
Yeah.
But it was like, well, why do we even... Because he won the vote, but they didn't want to give it to him, you know?
Right. Right. It's bananas. But you know what's crazy is, I mean, you think about it, you go, well, this system is kind of an antiquated system anyway. Yeah.
The two-party system is ridiculous.
It's broken. Yeah, it's dumb. It's obviously it's like the media in a lot of ways, right? Where you know there's six corporations that kind of run all of the media on the planet, pretty much. You know, it's what it comes down to.
A few people.
So the message that we read has, you know, there's a motive behind most of it.
It's geared by what they want you to know.
Yeah. So same with the two-party system. You know, I think what I've been doing is I've been pushing these two buttons here, and one of them's the wrong button.
Oh.
So I've been switching nothing back and forth, and I think I've just been stuck on you. But that's okay. See, there's this little psychological thing where if you keep changing the cameras, it's a shiny object, right?
Yeah.
So jumping back and forth keeps people's attention. So
now if they're just looking at me, they would have lost their attention a long time ago.
Yeah. See? Hi. Yeah. So, yeah. I got to get used to this. This is only episode number 2.
Practice.
We're bumping shit.
Practice.
Bumping shit. Got to get better at talking. Not a very good talker. Not much of a communicator. Or a listener. That's another thing. Listening skills. Takes work.
My friend Curtis says you have 2 of these and 1 of these, so you should listen twice as much as you talk.
Ooh. See, Curtis is pretty smart.
Wise words.
Wise words, Curtis. Yeah. Good job. Yeah, we should have Curtis on here. He'd be fun. We just talk about shit.
Yeah, he'd be down.
Talking about shit with Gene and Max and Curtis.
Curtis has a boat.
Curtis had what?
He just got a boat.
No. What kind of boat?
Like a little, it's like 15, 16 feet.
Santana?
Fishing boat.
Oh.
Take it out in the water.
Like a rowboat?
No, I mean, you could probably go jet skiing on it.
No way. Like, so it's a motorboat?
Yeah, it's a motorboat.
Oh, fuck.
I haven't been out on it yet, but I'm going to go Thursday.
How's he, where's he keeping his boat?
In his garage.
Oh, really? Yeah, so he's doing it old school, like a grown up.
Yeah, like a real grown up.
See, I was always told, don't get a boat, just have a friend with a boat.
Yeah, well, I got a friend with a boat. That's what I'm talking about.
All right,
gotta get on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's big news.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. Was he into fishing?
No, I think he's more into being on the water.
Oh, okay. I got a lot of fishing equipment for the ocean.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, we should go fishing.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I don't want to go.
No.
It was so funny because I wasn't really into it.
Yeah.
I was just under this impression that it was more affordable just to go fish.
Yeah.
Fish than it was to go to the supermarket, and I realized that's not the case.
Oh man.
It's so crazy. Isn't it crazy how everything is so ass backwards? If I wanted to grow my own food in my backyard, it'd probably cost 10 times as much with the water bill here on the peninsula. Like, it's impossible. To go fishing for, like, fish, you're talking about, like, to get on a boat, it's like $75 to just get on the boat. You might not even catch anything. Right. And then you got to pay for the dude to clean the fish, right? That's like $1 per fish, right? And then, you know, if you're packing food and you got to get your fishing license and it's like, you know, before you even catch a fish, you're over $100 already. Yeah. It's silly. And that's, oh man, that's how disconnected the world is. How we are.
Everything's a damn ripoff.
Everything. Yeah.
You just need to sit at home and bitch about it.
That's what we're doing.
That's right.
We're armchair quarterback in this.
Change the name to bitching about shit.
Bitching. we should call it bitching. Yeah, bitching about shit.
Bitching about shit.
Yeah, we're trying to come up with a good name for our little internet marketing show. Our internet show. It's not an internet marketing show, but I kind of like just the internet show.
The internet show.
Because I still think the word podcast will go away someday.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because everything's going to be, the revolution will be televised.
The revolution.
Everything will be on video, on YouTube.
It's the way it's going to be, man.
But I mean, nobody even watches cable anymore.
It's
hardly.
going away. Old folks, people who, again, yeah, older generations do still. That's probably it. Everybody else is on the internet.
Netflix.
And
shows are coming out on Netflix and
it's good. Have you seen the CISO app yet?
What is it?
CISO?
No.
SEESO.
What is that?
It's okay. So NBC made this, right? It's all comedy. It's like $4 a month. I'm gonna get it.
There's a horror movie one too, like Shudder.
Oh yeah, I've seen that on. Check this out. So I'm gonna hit over to here.
CISO.
Yeah. So all the comedy you can watch 24/7 for $4 a month.
Oh, wow.
So they got cartoons, they got stand up, they got. Yeah, it's cool. So they're working on this. It's kind of nice. I think it's like Comedy Central but better probably.
That's what they need to have because with cable you're spending over $100 a month in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And you have 400 channels, and you'd flip. It'd take you an hour to flip through them, and you don't find nothing.
I was on. Oh God. So I just read that ESPN. I hate ESPN. I hate sports. Well, I like sports if it's combat, right?
Yeah.
So if we're fighting, it's cool. But if it's your traditional mind-numbing sports like baseball and football and shit, like I'm completely tuned out. So every day at the gym, I'm on the Stairmaster, and there's a big stupid TV right there in front of me. So I have no choice but to look up at the TV, and it's ESPN.
Yeah.
And ESPN is like Fox News and CNN, but for sports.
Yeah.
It's retarded. I mean, it's the talking heads. They're making big deal bullshit out of nothing.
They've got the scrolling thing on the bottom.
They got the scrolling thing on the bottom. Did I tell you about that Florida Marlin baseball player that died? And then how they televised the whole thing like it was the O.J. Simpson fucking freeway chase.
Jose Fernandez.
I don't know. I can't remember what his name. It probably was
the boating accident.
Yeah.
He had cocaine and alcohol in the system.
Probably partying. Yeah. He's a human being. That's what they do. Yeah, they're fucking having a good time.
Rich 24-year-old.
I would be, probably, and probably not on the cocaine though. I wouldn't do the cocaine, but I'd be having a good time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But the first day, did I tell you this story? Like my observations. Like I've never watched ESPN before, right?
I haven't either.
It's fucking bananas. And I just realized, like I was reading on a Reddit post today that they're just tanking hard. Really? Like they lost like 650,000 subscribers last month or something. Like most people get it. They're like, this fucking it sucks. Yeah. And they spend like $7 billion a year licensing all the sports stuff.
Dude, there are people that are totally into that. Like I know people that just
obsessed.
know all sports.
Oh yeah, they're
That's
obsessed.
all they watch.
Hey, nothing against them. I mean, they found something that they latched onto, and they're really good at it, and they're into it, and they like the fantasy sports and all that stuff. More power to them.
I've never played a fantasy.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I'm not into it, but it's crazy. I was watching this thing, and they had this dude's funeral, right? They're doing a play-by-play of the funeral,
it's an event.
It's a huge sports event. They got cameras all set up, camera guys set up on skyscraper buildings. So when the hearse in the funeral progression or whatever is like moving down the street with the body and the casket and stuff, they got a play-by-play of all of that, all of the people, and then and it's going on for miles. I swear to God, I was like, this is like the freeway chase when OJ was being chased. And there's helicopters, capturing everything, and then like the next day they're inside like some big Catholic church in downtown Miami or something. I don't know where they're at. Orlando, I guess. I don't know. The cameras are all inside the church, and they're doing a play-by-play of all of this. I'm like, this is what they're putting on ESPN. It's like no wonder they're they're flopping like it's so stupid. Not only that, it was kind of like an insult to. I don't know. The family obviously sold the rights to ESPN.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck yeah. How much money are you going to pay us to film this guy's, funeral? Okay. It's crazy. I don't know, but there's no reason. Or there's
society, man. Society.
Yeah. And then of course the talking heads on there is just driving me crazy. But yeah, I'm glad to see that go away. And that's the shit that you deal with when you get cable. That and the Disney Channel and a lot of. 900,000.
And you're paying over $100 a month for it.
Yeah, they're going away, man. It's kind of nice. So so you can kind of a la carte this whole thing, So, little Netflix, Do you have that HBO Now app, like that service?
I don't.
So HBO's pretty good. They got a good show on it called Westworld.
I haven't watched that. When I was in the hospital, a friend of mine let me use her iPad.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And she had HBO on there, so I was able to watch the entire show
Yeah.
of Game of Thrones, all seasons.
Did you really?
Yeah,
oh man, that's pretty good though, wasn't it?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah, it's super good.
Took me like a season to get into it.
Yeah, it normally does.
So many characters, but then once you're in on the storyline, you're kind of hooked.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun because in June when it starts to roll back around again, it's like everybody gets fired up about Game of Thrones, so you kind of start over, like you start a season over again, and you kind of get build up into.
Where were we?
I don't know. I have no idea. Hey, nobody got time for this Game
Nobody
of
got
Thrones
time for that.
God damn it, I'm talking business here.
Yeah, my friends last year had, like, every week they'd have a get-together. You'd come over and watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I never went because it's like, well, I haven't watched it.
Give a shit
So
about Game of
I've
Thrones.
caught up now. So this next year I'll be able to go hang
Like,
out.
we got ourselves a team player.
We got ourselves a team player.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, the show Westworld's kind of cool because it takes place in the Wild West.
Oh, cool.
But
I like the West.
But what it is the Wild West is a theme park for rich people in the future.
I don't like that kind of West.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. It's got Anthony Hopkins and stuff. All the characters and everything are like robots. You can't tell. They're like every a human being. They've replicated the human being so well that these android type of people they don't realize that they're fake.
Yeah.
They don't even know it. Like, so they have a conscious, they are like free thinking, and they're living in this west world, right? This wild west.
So it's an amusement park.
It's an amusement park.
So they're like rides?
No, here's the thing. So you get to go and indulge in anything you want. You can kill, you can be the bad guy.
Because they're not real people.
Right. So there's no consequences. They could shoot at you and you're not going to get hurt. I still haven't quite figured that out yet, right? Like, maybe their guns are full of caps or something, but they're like shooting at you and you're not dying, but then you pull out a knife and you can go up there and cut their heads off if you wanted, and they just die. And then those bodies get picked up. Yeah, it's crazy. And then these bodies get picked up like later by like the business, and then they get put back together, and then the mind's memory gets erased and pre-programmed, and then put back out into the field. So it was like this person was dead. And then they just come back to life, like they regenerate. And it's a crazy story. It's super good. Anyway, Westworld.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's fascinating because you can almost imagine that someday there will be something like that. Maybe not a physical world, but something that'll connect to your brain somehow, and you'll be able to kind of experience it that way.
Well, I did watch the we were talking about last time, the Black Mirror.
Oh, Black Mirror,
You didn't want to spoil it.
Which one was it?
The one where they plug the thing in the back.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was having the real experiences, and he's like, I thought you couldn't feel anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be creepy?
I mean, I imagine it's got to be possible where they could affect your nerve receptor somehow.
Well,
or
you
feel
think
something,
think about like our brain. Our brain is really just
electronic signal box.
It's just it's just an organ that's full of cells and neurons and plumbing, and you can see how we're starting to replicate a lot of stuff on our body. People are we're growing ears and noses and skin and stuff. There's like things that we're doing that are just completely right out of a sci-fi book, and the more we research the brain, the more we understand it, the more we figure out how it works, the easier it is for us to replicate things.
Yeah.
And give it some time, man. And once we understand where consciousness comes from and how it kind of plays into our existence, our reality, we'll just be able to mimic it, in software.
That's crazy.
And then it comes back to that whole, philosophical argument that we are software living in some sort of virtual reality, and we don't even know it.
Wow, man.
Mind blown. Crazy.
A soldier who just got arm replacement surgery.
Oh, yeah?
He had his arms
blown
off.
Yeah.
And so they gave him arms of somebody who was...
A cadaver arm.
Yeah. And they're saying that within time, he should be able to use it and feel with it and everything.
Oh, my God.
By connecting with nerves. It's crazy.
Well, some dude had his dick attached, had a cadaver dick attached, too.
Really?
He had some kind of cancer that he had to have his dick removed.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. And so they ended up reattaching a cadaver's dick to him. Yeah. So anything's possible.
That sounds like a good band name.
Cadaver Dick. You want to come see my band tonight? Cadaver Dick. We're playing at Troy's place. He's got a party. His mom and dad won't be home for 2 days.
We're playing at the Trap, East Avenue I.
That's right, the Trap. Is that like a Little Rock?
Free plug. No, it's this old dive. I've never actually been inside it, but it's this old dive bar on the east side of Lancaster.
Oh, okay.
Avenue I.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy. A lot of drugs out there.
A lot of
meth.
A lot of dirt.
Oh, Louis Theroux was doing a thing on meth in Fresno.
Oh, really?
I guess it's like a huge
I know Fresno has a lot of gang problems.
Epidemic down there. That makes kind of sense, gangs and drugs and maybe a lot of trouble down there. But yeah, it's crazy how he's doing it like Louis Theroux style too. You know, so he's like on the road and he's with the cops and cops are out busting people and he's got like a mic. He's like right in front of these people are getting arrested. They're all tweakers. They're all tweaked out and he's there asking them questions. Why are you doing this? And don't you have do you have kids? And
wow. And that sounds dangerous.
Man, there's some fucked up people, man. That stuff is like a hell of a drug.
Man, I don't know how people get.
I'm glad we didn't get into it. Well, we're
nuts.
smart. We're too smart, I think.
Yeah.
I think we're too smart to get caught up in something like that.
I've seen people like go completely nuts.
Bananas,
like,
man. Yeah.
Not like go nuts right in front of me.
It's like a neurological degenerative product,
Did you take that class with me?
Yeah, that drug class we took in Antelope Valley College as kids.
Yes. We were.
We went to that rehab or
we were like 19, right?
18. Yeah, we're like kids.
I guess we're 18, 17.
We're taking drug classes at the Antelope Valley College.
It was sociology,
yeah.
drugs, and human behavior was the class.
It was a great class. That guy was a cool teacher too.
And we went to like a rehab center to like talk to the people. Was it Acton or Santa Clarita?
I remember that dude that was from New Jersey.
Was it Ken?
I can't remember the guy's
name. Was he the
name.
guy who like was a meth head, right?
He had like a leather jacket on. It was like right out of like the.
He was talking about how he was like a teenager still in his mind, and he was like playing with the lighter the whole time, and he was like, you could tell that the meth had like completely screwed up his mind permanently.
Yeah,
I don't think there's.
Dude, it fries it. It does fry out some circuitry there. That's for sure.
There's somebody that is like an old friend of the family that we've been hearing about, and like I grew up, and this person was never on any kind of meth or anything.
Oh, is that tweaking in the desert?
Well, we don't know.
Oh,
I mean, it's a woman, right?
Oh,
and she's probably now in her 50s.
Oh yeah.
Never was on anything, right?
Yeah.
And so she starts calling up somebody else that we know and talking about how these demons are in a room with her, and she has names for them.
Oh Jesus!
And it started getting worse, and this went on for like 6, and we don't really know what could cause it, but we think it has to be like meth, right? Because I guess people could just lose their mind all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, man. There's definitely some mental disorders that happen.
Because I mean, she legitimately, honestly thinks there's like demons that are in the room with her.
Yeah, she could be. She definitely. She should check out. She should get some mental health treatment. She could be dual diagnosis if she is. I only know this stuff because I do the marketing for a lot of rehab stuff.
Yeah.
And mental health. So I only know the buzzwords because that's what I use to kind of sell addiction rehab and stuff.
Yeah.
Dual diagnosis is when you have a drug problem and a mental health problem, and usually it could be one or the other. They work together.
Yeah.
She could just have a mental health problem, man. She could be on. How people end up as they get older. They start to lose kind of their faculties.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the types of disorders, but man, she could be.
See, even one of the weird things is before. And we don't know a whole lot. It's not like it's a close person. It's just someone that we have like.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're hearing voices, what is that?
And seeing things.
Yeah, that's what is that? What's that? Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember the word. I just don't use it enough. But what's that? What is that disorder? Crazy people. It's not.
You're talking about
schizophrenic.
schizophrenia?
Yeah, schizophrenia. Yeah. It could be that she's like fucking schizophrenic, man.
Yeah.
Hearing voices. There's some good YouTube videos like schizophrenic. Simulators.
Yeah.
What it's like to be schizophrenic.
Wow.
Like trying to concentrate and stuff, and you're hearing voices, and they're talking
terrible.
to you, and they're talking shit or they're talking negative stuff. It's really easy, especially if you're a religious person, to think that those are demons.
Demons, yeah.
Totally.
Well, before the demon thing, when everything seemed normal, there were several years where she would talk about this job that she had. Right. Going to work, and she worked at this place, and then when she started going weird. You know, other people would start talking to each other like, hey, what's wrong with so-and-so? Like, have you been hearing any of these types of things? And come to find out, she didn't even have that job. Like, it was
She just
like,
made it up?
It was like a made-up thing for years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, supposedly.
Yeah. She's probably been...
It's just very curious to me, like, how could somebody go from being completely normal to just seemingly completely crazy? Unless there's some sort of medical, like, I was thinking it's either a brain tumor or it's some sort of drug problem.
It could be anything. And you know what? Chances are probably not seeing a doctor about it either, right?
Yeah.
Classic case. It's like...
well, if you're going crazy and you're seeing those things, you're probably not going to think.
Well, I would.
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, I need to go talk to somebody about this. I'm fucking literally seeing somebody in the corner and he's, you know, picking his nose and throwing it at me.
You're assuming you're still thinking logically.
Yeah, that's
but
true
if you're
too.
Going crazy, you can't, you know, your faculties aren't going to be all in line.
I wonder if there's like a sense of self-awareness, you know, where, I mean, obviously if you're seeing a pink elephant in the room in the corner, you got to start to question, you know, like, what am I looking at here? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, obviously it doesn't happen. I think a lot of people are in denial and afraid to seek treatment because they're afraid of like what the doctor's going to say and what's going to happen to their lives, right? And then a lot of people are like, I got to get help. I got too much shit going on. I got kids to feed.
How terrifying.
Yeah. Alzheimer's, like early onset Alzheimer's could be like another thing.
Yeah.
And that is another kind of degenerative brain, you know, disease where you're fine, and then all of a sudden, man, shit just starts going downhill really fast, and you start losing memory. You know, literally, it's eating, like, it's turning your brain into string cheese, you know, or Swiss cheese. String cheese.
String cheese is good.
Yeah.
My mother was a caretaker for a woman for many years, and till the lady was like in her 90s, and finally she passed. But I got to see, like,
firsthand.
Or, you know, I talked to my mom on the phone quite a bit. Yeah. She lives in Arkansas, but I'd hear this woman in the background, and for the first few years, she was normal, you know. She was like, had everything together, still in her like 80s, late 80s. Yeah. But as time progressed, she just completely lost her mind. She'd just talk about weird, random, like violent things.
Really?
You know, I mean, she lived like a
pretty normal life.
Yeah. Her husband was a lawyer. They were well-off people, you know, just like, but somehow your mind just goes crazy, and then it's like, why is that? Like, when I see crazy people, like when you go downtown, any big city, and you see nutty, crazy-ass people, why are they always so violent talking? You know, it's always like...
That's interesting.
Yeah, you never see, like, just nice, crazy people
talking
rambling
about
on the street.
Flowers and peace and love.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, I don't know, man. That's crazy. But, you know, to just guess, I would think it has... Okay, well, obviously there's a chemical problem, right? You got neurons kind of, like, firing off in your brain in these certain areas that, you know, store all the violent thoughts. And maybe it's just years and years of I don't know, could be oppression, violence. Maybe they are having these violent tendencies. A lot of times we suppress, right? You suppress a lot of thoughts and feelings. Yeah. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. And, you know, when you have these kind of disorders, I mean, who's to say that, you know, that's the stuff that kind of bubbles up, you know, and comes out. Yeah. You know, just people walk around with a lot of shit in their heads.
You know, I heard, I'm pretty sure it's true, but, you know, like anything, the Kennedys had a sister, right? I think John Kennedy's sister or daughter. Maybe we should have to look this up. So but she had a mental disorder. And she was a little bit crazy and would say, like,
crazy shit,
crazy things, right? And they had her lobotomized.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this was not that long ago. This was probably like in the 60s.
That's lobbing off the prefrontal cortex, I think. Just turning a person into a vegetable.
Basically.
It's like one of those coat hanger abortions for the brain. Dude, fucking nuts.
We got dark.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know.
It's because it's Halloween.
Oh, that's right.
It's a Halloween episode, even though it's a little late. We should have dressed up. I should have came as a Russian man.
Oh yeah, that was a good.
See, check this out.
Good outfit.
Most people didn't get it, I don't think, and that's probably it's understandable. It's got to be like let's say Russian.
I think people got it.
Sure. There was a Ukrainian lady there the other night. Did you know that?
Yeah.
She got it. She was like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly those guys." See, Russian jogging suit, jogging hose. Oh, maybe it's I don't know.
That is how Eugene Hoots dressed in that movie that he was in.
I gotta pop this up. This is. So I went as a dude that was kind of like these guys. Well, these guys are too cool, actually.
Yeah.
I wanted to find like that Eastern Europe.
The one with the mustache?
The goofy as fuck guy with the jogging suit. I probably need to do a better Google search than this, but yeah, Russian Adidas. Oh, well, anyway, it's pretty hilarious. I've had fun. I like the idea of coming up with accents, too.
Yeah.
Like working on accents.
I get stuck on accents for a long time.
That's good, though, because you work on them and you get better at it.
But then I get into it, and it's hard for me to stop talking.
Is it?
No,
Yeah.
it is. I got on the Ukrainian thing. I did it for like a month straight, and I could not like stop. I'd go home, and I'd be like, "Hey, what's for dinner, woman?"
Hey, woman.
That's kidding. That's a joke.
That's jokes. That's jokes. Yes, I like the. I want to do Portuguese. I'm gonna start learning. YouTube's got all kinds of videos to teach you like the little
I have no idea.
nuances of each language. Portuguese, German. It'd be just fun to have those in the old back pocket.
It'd be funner if you could actually learn the language.
Oh, fuck that. Who's got time for that?
But I'll sit down and watch.
What am I, some kind of genius? Come on. Let's fucking just fake it for a while.
I'm just gonna learn all the accents.
Yeah, I'm just going to learn all the accents.
Watch the videos and read the books on how to do the
Yeah,
accents.
fuck yeah. That way you can do impressions. I
Yeah.
was just minding my own business. Some Russian guy said, stick 'em up.
That's the important things.
Yeah. Like a Russian KGB special agent man.
Men.
With my fanny pack. Yeah.
What's some other accents you could do?
I can't do anything.
What?
I just did that Russian one practicing for a couple of days before Halloween just so I could kind of figure it out.
that.
But then I found out that I liked it. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
It is a fun one.
It's kind of a fun little thing to learn. It's you could tell stories better when you're talking about doing accents and stuff. So it kind of animates the story that you're trying to tell.
Nowadays, are we being insensitive if we do accents?
Fuck, probably. But I don't care.
Terrible.
I don't care. Can't give in. Can't give in, man. You can't give in. It's too sensitive out there. And
right.
you just gotta
It's disgusting.
gotta step it up, you know? Gotta say no. Yeah, man. So yeah, I want to do Portuguese because of jiu-jitsu. That'd be a fun one to learn. The black belts. Yeah.
In Brazil.
They just have that it's hilarious. It's just funny when you hear somebody with a good Portuguese impression. And what else? Russian, Portuguese, German, obviously.
German's a good one.
German's a good one to have.
I saw this video the other day, and it was people saying, it was like different languages saying like different words.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, I think it was kind of a
Oh,
joke.
I remember hearing it. Yeah, because the German one sounds like really angry and
every
violent.
time. They're
Yeah.
like,
It's like flour, you know, and then whatever.
yeah. Of course, it had a lot to do with the guy who was yelling and screaming every time he was saying the German word.
We got a low battery alert.
Oh, no. The shutter. No card, apparently.
It'll come back. It'll come back. Are we on? Are we live? Okay. Yeah. I had this camera plugged into a surge suppressor down there at the bottom, and it turns out it wasn't turned on. It wasn't powered up, so we lost it.
This shit is unacceptable. We've had light in your eyes.
We need a technician.
That's true.
We need a technician. We need a technician.
What you do? Have you seen the movie? Yeah, I can't remember it, but I can't remember the name of it. But it's a guy, and he, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh yeah,
And he's like
Mr.
He like becomes a reporter.
the night walker, or
something like that.
Yeah.
And he hires this guy, and he's like, you could have this internship, and most of that's what we need to do.
yeah,
Put in an article for an internship.
Craigslist
Yeah.
technician intern for up and coming internet show.
There you go.
I'm gonna do it. I did that last time to sell some eBay stuff,
Yeah.
and I got this Chinese kid, like straight off the mainland from China.
Really?
Like his dad first reached out to me. I had a bunch of stuff that I wanted to
My
sell.
son could work on that for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I
I
put
don't know
out.
why that wasn't much of a Chinese.
That was
accent.
none of the Chinese, but I get it.
Yeah.
So I put a thing out on Craigslist, and I was like, I need somebody who knows eBay well and wants to sell my stuff for me, I'll split everything down the middle, whatever you sell it for. Just need to get rid of it.
I remember you telling me about this.
And so this Chinese dude reaches out to me, and we meet up at the coffee shop, Acme Coffee downtown. And
so he just came here from China.
The guy that I met with has been in the U.S. for like 10 years.
Okay.
He's one of those dudes that like sailed over, got established, and then sent for his family.
Okay.
He's like one of those dudes. And and he's been doing eBay for like a while, right? So he knows eBay. Like he showed me his channel or his eBay store and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know eBay. But he wasn't going to do it. He's like, I'm going to sick my son on this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And so the kid shows up, and he's like, oh, so he's like 16 years old, right? So he's a teenager, right? He's one of those guys. He's just okay. So he's a teenage kid, and
one of those guys.
He's like a teenage kid, right?
Yeah.
And then he's from China, like mainland China. So complete culture difference, right? I'm like, dude, just calm down, chill out, and be cool. You don't need to be all.
Was he like high strung?
He was
super focused,
kind of like a robot,
Okay.
Just everything was serious, everything was like to the point, and there was like no emotion.
Just lighten up, dude.
Yeah, it was just like lighten up, like chill out. And he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. Anyway, it lasted about 2 weeks, and he couldn't sell anything. And it's probably not his fault, but
well, you try.
Yeah, you try. Chinese.
Speaking of accents,
yes,
I thought about this like today or yesterday, and I want to know what your thoughts are on this. So in America, right, we have several different accents.
Yeah. Oh, you mean different regions of the United States?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here in California, we talk normal.
Yeah, we talk normal. Yeah, we do. We enunciate, and things kind of come out properly.
The East Coast has like its own.
Hey, you's talking to me?
Hey, what you doing?
You's talking to me?
Yeah. And then you got the people down the South down there. There has their accent like that right there.
Yeah.
Do you think, say, Spanish speakers, just for an example, that live in America have different accents based on region?
Ooh, I bet they do.
Do you think there's like a southern twang to
like a
Spanish speaker?
Ooh, that's a good
lives
question.
In like Tennessee or something?
That's a good question. Yeah, I bet. I don't know, but I bet they do.
No comprehende.
I bet they do, just because they have no choice. I mean, if they're listening to English in that way over and over and over and over, chances are good that it's going to somewhat kind of come out differently.
So it's basically just like the draw, like certain sounds or certain ways you enunciate.
I just remember like this comedian, the stand-up guy, Asian guy, like from Japan, but he was raised in Tennessee. And so it was such a weird thing to see a Japanese guy who spoke with a legit like Southern accent.
Yeah.
Not that has anything to do with like a Spanish speaking person.
Yeah.
But I could see like, okay, if this guy comes from Japan and he spends 20 years in the United States and he somehow comes out with this kind of like Southern drawl, then why wouldn't that happen to like a Spanish speaking immigrant or something?
What about, I heard this case the other day, and I've heard of several of these similar things happening where I think it was a football player or something had a head injury, and then when he came out of the hospital or went into a coma or whatever, when he came out of it, he could speak fluent Spanish.
I've heard that.
He couldn't before.
I've heard that a couple of times. I heard a race car driver in like some crazy like Northern Europe country had an accident, couldn't speak English, and then came to after like hitting his head in an accident, and he was speaking fluent English.
So how is that even like?
I have no idea.
Do you think that's real?
I don't know. My skeptical side says
you
no.
want to say it's bullshit, right?
Wants to say it's bullshit, but it's come from. I've heard that story more than once, and it's come from like seems like credible sources.
Yeah.
That blows my mind, man. There's some crazy shit that happen to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would. To me, I would think that in order to be able to speak something fluent, you would need to learn it. Not just listen to it.
It have to be in your mind somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the fundamental building blocks to language would have to be there, like to that language. Understanding grammar and understanding why a sentence is structured the way it's structured in these words and this vocabulary. So, I don't know. If we had a technician here, we could have them Google it for us while we talked about it. But Gotta Craigslist that thing. You know, when we get to like episode 20, we'll probably have it figured out pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we could hire somebody, or we could have like a technician show up.
It's a work in progress, folks.
Because it's probably a good idea to do these like regularly, like so they could be released on a specific day.
Yeah.
I was told for like YouTube that's really important.
I know with a podcast I listen to,
Like
I
if-
usually expect one.
Yeah,
A certain time.
And so if you condition people to expect something,
Yeah.
then you have to deliver. If you have any fans, I don't know if we'll ever have any fans.
We got at least 2.
Well, and our moms.
Yeah, that's who I'm counting.
Oh, I thought you and me were. I'm fan number 1. That's
Yeah.
fan number 2. How about that view?
That view, look at that.
It's kind of the wide angle view because the camera rebooted.
A dark and a soft glow in my jacket.
Yeah, I know. See, we gotta work on that.
Are you making this up?
I'm gonna have to work on the lighting situation too.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking so much.
We'll get it.
I quit.
What are we looking at here? Oh, still the jumpsuits?
Yeah. Oh, some hot Russian ladies. That's what I like about Google Images, man. You can pull up some interesting stuff. That's a nice lady.
Just randomly.
Yep. This is an internet show, so we can do whatever we want. Well, actually, technically, this is probably a big no-no. Turns out, sharing other people's content on your content could get your content pulled.
Oh.
So by doing stuff like this,
Well, we're not showing the screen.
we were.
Oh, that's
See?
stupid. Oh.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we're it's not a big deal, but if you are a big deal, you got to be very careful about what you share on your channel, because people could give you copyright strike violations and you have your stuff pulled.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Popular Russian jogging. Buy cheap Russian jogging.
Buy cheap Russian bride.
Buy cheap Russian bride.
Well, anyway, it's good to see you.
You too? What do you got coming up?
Let's see, what is today? Tuesday. I know what I got coming up. I got to take a whiz right
Oh,
now.
That's important.
So I'll be back, okay? Just keep going.
Oh, we're going?
Yeah, just tell people a story.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell a story about a very insightful story here. There's a boy and an old man and a donkey. And every day they walk from their farm into town for supplies. And they're walking one day, and you have the old man, and he let the boy ride on the donkey, and they're heading into town. Everybody says, "Why is the old man walking and the boy is making the old man walk? It should be the other way around. That's terrible." And they hear they hear what they're saying. So the next day they switch. And the boy says, "Here, you get on, old man, you get on the donkey, and I'll walk, and that way people won't complain about us." So they're on their way into town, and then all the people say, "Man, that's messed up, man. That old man's making that kid walk. You know, that old man should be setting an example and letting that kid ride on that donkey." So they go home that day and are like, "Man, that still don't seem like the right thing to do. We gotta change it up somehow. Maybe we'll both ride the donkey. That'll do it." So they're like, "All right, well, we'll try that." So they're heading into town. People are like, "Oh man, that's messed up. That poor donkey. Both the old man and the kid are both riding the donkey. That's messed up." So they're like, "Man, we just can't win. I guess the next day they're gonna have to carry the donkey." So the next day they go in there and they're carrying the donkey, because everybody's complained about every other thing.
Yep.
And then they're walking across the bridge into town, and people are talking like, "Man, do you see that? Those people are carrying that donkey. That's just ridiculous."
So ridiculous.
And then, the donkey was so heavy they couldn't keep carrying it, and they dropped it, and it fell off the bridge, and
The donkey
it died. Yeah. So the moral of the story is, if you try to please everybody, you can kiss your ass goodbye.
That's true.
That's deep stuff right there.
Old marketing adage.
Old
you know,
marketing.
you market to everybody, you end up reaching nobody.
That's right.
Yep. So, Thanksgiving's rolling around the corner. I got to go down and see the folks.
You are doing that?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to be here for Christmas, though. Sending the wifey poo to Europe
Okay.
for like 3 weeks. and then it's gonna be me and the dog.
Oh, that's gonna be wild.
Crazy. Yeah, you should come down. All right, what are you doing for Christmas?
I don't know. I need to go see my mother in Arkansas. I was supposed to go visit her in September, but my broken foot has delayed my plans.
Right.
I haven't been back there since right after we went to Nashville last year.
Yes.
So it's been over a year.
Gotta go back to Nashville. I gotta reach out to Ed Clay, see what he's up to.
Mr. Clay in the East Ivy Mansion.
Been working at a hospital, cancer hospital down in Tijuana.
Yeah, I remember he
running that thing. That's his thing right now. So he's doing that. Haven't heard from him though. Yeah, and then Vegas in January.
What's
There's
happening?
a conference called the Affiliate Summit West.
Oh, okay.
Big conference for marketing folks.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. Yeah, it's usually a good time.
Where's it going to be?
The Paris, I think.
Oh,
Paris.
I've stayed there quite a few times.
Yeah, I got to get my tickets in order. Yeah, there's a lot of money flying around. So you get a lot of these parties put together by networks, like these networks that we all work with, and they buy these. You know, you ever do one of the table things, like you have people that buy tables at these retarded clubs. So that's kind of a lot of what they do. Parties are usually pretty good though. They'll rent out penthouse suites and stuff in like nice hotels, and then throw a house party.
Yeah. And
you just kind of show up, and it's a party. It's a good time.
Sounds like fun.
I usually go for the free food.
Yeah.
And it's super fun, but beautiful. Yeah, it's fun when those. What's great about that industry? There's a lot of money in it, and there's a lot of money flowing through Vegas.
Yeah.
So the parties are going to be
fancy.
on. They're going to be on. Yeah.
Fancy.
They're going to be on rooftops and suites, and you have tables at those fancy clubs that are too loud, that are just retarded. They're paying like $20,000 to sit there.
Wow.
Stupid. So stupid. But it's fun.
But it's fun.
It's fun. Not my money, you know,
Yeah.
So it's fun. But yeah, I got that. I got a San Diego trip in, it's another conference, I think in February, March.
Okay.
San Diego.
We got some things to look
San
forward to.
Diego's nice, man. You ever?
I lived in San Diego briefly.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Oh, man. Does Marcus and Tanya still live down there?
They live in Denver now.
Whoa, really? What happened?
Colorado. I saw them when I was working in Denver for a month or so.
What are they up to?
Nothing. Doing good.
That's awesome.
Doing good. Marcus is like
high school friends. Yeah, just in case.
He's like a general manager of a.
Doing the water thing still?
Yeah.
Dang.
He doesn't work for Sparklets anymore. I'm not sure who he works for.
Oh, some water company though, huh? Like Nestle.
I don't know.
Those guys, he's
doing well.
Bottle the water right out of the ground.
So what's the deal with this pipeline thing? Everybody's been checking in.
I have no idea. I just see my friend Scott checked in. I know there's a lot of protesting.
Yeah.
It's
you checked in, didn't you?
I did because my friend Scott did. I'm like, I just want to be with Scott.
You lemming.
I just want to be a lemming because Scott was there.
I mean, it seems like a good thing. I just don't know enough about it to.
I have no idea.
Speak about it.
You know, it's like, yeah, fucking. All I know is there's a big, huge oil pipeline that's going built through a bunch of tribal land, and the Indian people are like, no.
So we screw the Indians again.
And then yeah, just the pictures are looking pretty bad. Like you see these cops, they're all in formation, and you see all these like Native Americans, and you're just like, God, that just looks terrible,
man.
It just looks like another assault.
These poor people.
Yeah, man. It just seems like this shit happens more and more. And you know, it's the scary thing is it's all money flow. You know, you just follow the money, and it goes to some oil company. And all of this, you know, this desiccation of land, and these people and their rights, and not only, you know, this fossil fuel thing that they just keep perpetuating, as opposed to like nipping it in the bud and moving forward with something that's clean and good for the environment. You know, they just want to continue to perpetuate this thing, and then they're going to come out there and they're going to say that it's, you know, creating jobs and all this other stuff, and you know, and maybe it is creating jobs, but those are temporary jobs. Those jobs aren't going to be around, you know, because fossil fuels won't be around.
Right.
You know, this shit's going away. It's going away, you know. And everything they're doing is all short-term profit. You know, it's just...
Yeah, we come in a couple hundred years ago, just take their whole land, and then we have these treaties like, okay, well...
Yeah, we totally fucked the
We're not
Indians,
going to kill you no more, but here's a little piece of land that's yours. And then now we're like, well, you know what? We kind of need that.
Yeah, we kind of need that land right now. Well...
It's something that's going to mess up their water supply, right? That's what they're worried about.
You know, yeah. I don't know enough about it to seriously comment on it. And I would do a Google search, but man, I just don't feel like doing that either. Tell you what. It doesn't sound good though. It doesn't sound good. It sounds like more of the same, more like human rights violations.
Yeah.
You know.
Scary.
I just don't like the idea. And it's probably because I'm fucking from California and I have a pretty cushioned situation where I'm not desperate or dependent upon, somebody else in terms of employment, with respect to, there's a lot of hardworking people out there that know one thing, and when that one thing goes away and that's your livelihood, you're in a desperate situation, right? So you're willing to do things like, fuck the environment and screw the long-term ramifications. It's like, I need to put food on the table and I'm going to do whatever it takes to put food on the table. What they're offering to me over there is an opportunity. Yeah. And that's how people think, and so I get that. But if you pull yourself back for a second and you look at the big picture, there's definitely a problem with this employment thing. I think a lot of it has to do with people the world moves fast and it changes quickly. And if you don't adapt to it,
and overcome this.
Yeah, if you don't adapt to it, you're that guy who's angry that your job is gone because it got outsourced. It's like the world has this natural momentum, and it's easy to get lost, in the swell of it, And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are that way. Yeah. Not everybody can be entrepreneurs. Not everybody can be, self-efficient or figure out a will or a way to make ends meet, get creative.
Well, they need to get their shit together.
Yeah. I mean, I know one thing, I have this perspective, when I need more money, you could do two things. You could start to budget, right? You can go, okay, well, I'll just take what I'm getting now and I'll figure out how to make do with what I got. Yeah. Stop drinking
what can I cut out?
Stop drinking Starbucks, stop eating out, all this other stuff so you can make it. And then there's another mindset, which is, I got to make more money.
You got to work more.
I got to work more, right? And so you have, because I like my lifestyle.
Sure.
Right? Or, I'm saying I as in like the royal I.
Yeah. The proverbial.
The proverbial, metaphorical. Oh, yeah, let me switch that over. Sorry. I've been talking this whole time staring at you. We need a technician. But yeah, I mean, that idea that, and then of course there's the irresponsible person, which is most of America, and I think in a lot of ways, not most, I mean, but you're the one that's going to, these people are going to go out, even though they know they can't afford to buy a house, will go buy a house on some predatory loan or something, right? And gamble on the fact that it might go up, or the possibility that it might go up in equity or something. But most people are caught up in, okay, we need to budget, and we can't spend anymore because we have one job. We work for one employer, and you did that. Work for one employer, and once that job goes away, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And I think America, as creative and innovative as we are, that's only a small percentage of the population. The rest of them are like, what do we do? What do we do? I need help. What do I do?
What do I do? Else, man. People can learn to do something else. I think people get stuck in this. Oh, I can't do this anymore. I can't do nothing.
Yeah, it angers me because it's the same mindset. You see those people are like, I know these people. They think they're old, but they're not.
Yeah.
And they talk about it like they're old, but they're not.
Yeah.
My dad was that way. It was like when he hit 25. Again, remember, my parents were born, when I was born, 15, 16 years old is how old they were, right? So when I'm like 10, my dad's like 26. Yeah, 26. And I remember him talking about how old he was, like he was already middle-aged.
Yeah, if you start saying stuff enough, you're going to believe it and then act it out. And
you're going to act it all out.
Itself, It's like one of my pet peeves is like, when you see, this is going to be probably insensitive, but when you see really, really overweight people in a grocery store and they're on their roll carts,
Oh, yeah.
But they can't get up and walk because they have all these problems. So it's like, if you got up and walked in the first place, you wouldn't end up with all these problems.
Yeah, that's the thing is.
And it just gets worse and worse because you can't do anything and you don't want to do anything, and then it just increases like your health
Slippery
problems.
slope, man. Yeah. Here, have this handicap placard so you don't have to walk as far, right? Like, here's this nice big blue stupid thing you could put there, and then you could be the silly son of a bitch that has to park right in front of the door so you could wobble your ass in to sit on a machine that can move you around.
Yeah. I'd like to say I declined getting a handicap placard.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
My broken foot, because I was like, well, I need any exercise I can get at this point. So I'm not going to park right next to something. I'll
Yeah, people,
struggle with
man,
Model N.
people that one of those the big thing that I learned like at Choice Center was that whole victim mindset.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem we have in this country too. Yeah, everywhere. A lot of people are just victims.
Yeah.
They feel like they're victims and they live in that. You end up on mental health medication and it becomes this like slippery slope there where you're popping all kinds of different pills. And then you get maybe on pain pills, and then you're like, now you're a victim there, and it's the world is out to get you, and then so you self-medicate with food, and all of a sudden, you're eating a pint of ice cream every night because it makes you feel happy while you're watching TV on the couch, and you do that for a year, and you look back and you're like, whoa, what just happened? Because I'm like 350 pounds right now, and I'm about to have a heart attack, and I'm a type 2 diabetic. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens every day. There's so many people in this country that are like that right now. That's why what the statistic for obesity in this country? I mean, it's 60% or something. Or Jesus Christ, it's fucking nuts, man.
Let's go get a burger.
You hungry? We can go get some food.
I was kidding.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We were talking about being grossly obese.
Yeah.
Obese.
I can see it. I just got off. Can I flip this switch here? I did, yeah. So I just got off this program, right? I had a personal trainer, and I go through this once a year around my birthday, where I kind of roll into my birthday, fucking ripped and feeling good, feeling young, right? It's my little fountain of youth.
Are you feeling old beforehand? That's why you do it?
No, I just I feel good. I think I function better.
Yeah.
I function better when
when you feel better.
When I feel, physically. Yeah, and so when I look good, I feel good, and so it's a weird thing. So it's therapy. It is kind of my own means
I think the best medicine for almost any ailment,
exercise. You said it. It's so
Get
simple.
out and do something.
I was thinking, the other day that depression could be a symptom of not getting out more. Yeah. Getting outside of your environment, going outdoors, sweating.
Dude, when I got into rock climbing and being outside all the time, I think it's the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I felt better than I ever have, I was out there being active, doing stuff that's fun. It's
It makes me wonder if that isn't a signal, a biological signal, because if you go back 10,000 years, 100,000 years when we were hunting and gathering.
Well, that timeline just ain't possible, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. 10,000 years?
No, I'm joking.
I mean, the point is like at some point you have to, we have to move around and we have to do things, right? Because if we don't, typically get sad and depressed.
Take any creature and just put it in a...
Yeah, and it's probably indicative of some kind of survival instinct to stay moving, to stay working, to work the body, to you see these guys like farmers, for example, right? They're hardworking, manual labor type of guys, and they've been doing it their entire lives, and most of them are pretty happy.
Oh, yeah.
They like what they do. There's satisfaction there. The person that sits at their computer and they're hacking away, 8 to 12 hours a day, and they're, they're starting to get a hump in their back, and it's just looking terrible, and they're depressed, and those are the people that are just like, they hate their lives, right?
Oh, man.
And I do feel it's like, it comes from a time when it was necessary, and your body's feeding you signals saying, buddy, you got to fucking move. You got to get out. You got to get out and survive because you're dying here. And I'm trying to tell you right now, you're dying, but people don't get it. They just want to pop pills.
For 9 years I worked in the lab. I drove 4 hours a day.
Was it 9 years?
I worked at a company for 9 years.
That's a long time, man. Wow, I can't believe it.
4 hours of commuting almost every day.
To L.A. To fucking that
shit. To L.A. and to up here.
Yeah, you had it. What do you think was worse, here or there?
It was worse here for sure.
Yeah, over the 17?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the 880.
880.
The 880 and the 17.
It's just really a huge clusterfuck up there.
Oh, dude. And, working inside a lab all day, every day, it's very stressful. Like, always, every customer that comes in wanting something tested, the deadline was always yesterday. You just can't do it fast enough. And after 9 years, it's like, look, I'm not stressed out anymore because your planning sucks.
Yeah, right.
And after a while, I don't care about your deadlines. Like, I'd be sitting there working 18 hours a day sometimes, like staying the night there. They'd come and bring me dinner
ridiculous.
at night. Like, you can't go home. We got to finish this project. And after a while, I was like, dude, no way. I can't deal with it no more. That's around the same time I was like getting into climbing. I was like, this is something I'm really happy about. Yeah. This is miserable.
Yeah, you're cramping my style here.
Yeah, so I can't do it. And I got a good buddy who,
Is it Sam?
yeah, and he's doing, he's doing really good in that company. He's getting like, promoted all the time.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't stop working ever. You know, I tell him I worried about him all the time because he's a young guy. He's like 25.
He doesn't look it, actually.
Yeah.
Sam looks older than 25.
He
looks like he's our age.
He works too hard.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Dude, my hair started going gray when I was 27 working for that company.
Oh my God. It's too much, man.
Too much.
It's too much on the system.
Can't handle the deadlines, dude. You gotta find something you enjoy, and then figure out how to make a living doing it.
Yeah, man. Or at least have a job that's such low impact on your life that maybe you don't enjoy it, but it doesn't consume you.
Yeah.
You know, you're not a fucking slave, right? That's the thing, and that's what. Oh God, this country, man.
So yeah,
I feel bad for everybody that has to get stuck work. I know. We've all been there.
Before I broke my foot, so I'm also a massage therapist.
Right.
So I do that part time. I work at the climbing gym.
Yep.
You know, teaching safety, and I also work at a camp where I work at like a ropes course.
Yeah, yeah.
And so for me, I like doing all those things. I never actually feel like I'm at work.
Yeah, because those
know?
are fun,
Yeah,
engaging.
Yeah. A lot of times it's just like you're hanging out with people.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's the good job, man. That's the way it should be.
yeah, and I don't get sick of one thing because I'm doing it. You know, I'm not doing it repeatedly over and over and over every day.
Yeah.
It's a little different now, you know, because I can't really go out and do those things. So
Yeah, yeah. You have to kind of reflect on.
yeah, so I'm working I'm working in the. I still do the classes, in the gym, but I'm. I got sidetracked by the.
Oh, you got mesmerized by the computer.
Ooh, bright
Yes.
flashy thing.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm working in an office now
Yeah.
situation, you know, just until my foot gets better. But even that's not so bad. It's not like I'm under these deadlines. I'm just
Right.
like, I'm still in the adventure department.
Yeah, it's good you got out of that fucking shitty corporate gig, though.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it's a good job.
pays the bills.
It's a good job, good company. Don't have any complaints about it.
Yeah,
It's just
you know,
not my thing.
Hey, you exchanged more time for that company than they paid you for.
Oh, dude.
Just the commuting and the stress alone, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. That was I had this since I've done the marketing stuff, and I've had like firsthand experience in understanding how to make money without having to exchange your time for it, like dollar for time.
Yeah.
You know, that 1-to-1 ratio. Like, what's an hour of a hardworking human worth,
Yeah.
or an experienced, competent human worth, right? The idea of exchanging that time for some dollar amount to me has kind of completely disintegrated.
Yeah.
I know too much. Like I've seen it. I know what it takes.
Can't be unlearned.
You can't unlearn it. Yeah. So to make money, I always look at it now from a perspective of like, okay, how much time can I buy with this money?
Yeah.
You know, my personal time. And if I could buy, in other words, if I could make money that would give me a day off tomorrow,
Yeah.
and I would do it, right? So it's like, okay, if it only took me 2 hours to make enough wage for a day today so I could take tomorrow off, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But if I have to work 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week in exchange for some dollar amount, it's like being a doctor who
Yeah.
works 18 hours a week. It doesn't scale, right?
Oh,
It just doesn't. It becomes like a stupid, ancient, like turn of the 18th century idea during like the Industrial Revolution, where you have to give up 8 hours of your life in exchange for some wage to live, and it doesn't even work anymore.
I mean, that's what most of America is doing.
Oh yeah, and we're still into that stupid 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. This is what we base.
But what do you do? What does the average person do to replace it and still be productive?
The thing is here's the thing: most people aren't productive
Even when they're 40 hours.
in 8-hour days.
You could probably do everything you do in 40 hours if you wanted to, get the same pay, and then just do it all in one day.
There's a
'Cause
lot
people
of startups.
People just like, burn the clock. Basically,
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
You know, but you physically can't. I mean, you're gonna burn out, right?
Yeah.
You burn out as a human being if you're stuck literally working 8 hours straight every day.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you have Chinese people jumping off of buildings and for working at Foxconn and shit for building Apple iPhones and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're an example of what happens to a human being that's forced to literally work 8 hours a day or starve.
They actually have a word, and I don't remember if it's Chinese or
Japanese.
They actually have a word for being worked so hard you kill yourself.
Yeah, and that's like a badge of honor for a lot for like Japanese culture. I think.
Wow.
There's a Vice documentary I think on it. I can't remember.
It's a crazy world we live in.
Oh man, it's so backwards. That's the thing. The older I get, the more we become self-aware of how everything works, the more ridiculous it becomes.
Yeah.
It's crazier than a movie. Really is.
There's this guy named George Soros, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I always hear his name in the news. He's just some. I looked him up the other day because I'm like, who's this guy? I always hear him talking about.
Is he a media mogul?
He's like a Hungarian businessman, but he's one of in the top 30 richest people on the planet.
Oh wow.
But he has said like one of his hobbies is to topple governments.
Right.
You know, and he just like influences tons of stuff just by feeding money into like different sides of different arguments just to like
Oh my God.
watch chaos happen.
Isn't that insane?
And it's nuts that there's people out there like that.
That
You know?
could do that. Yeah.
And I mean that could be just opinion that people have on this guy. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I mean he said that. And
Yeah.
if you say that and you're that rich and you're feeding money into all these
I'll be honest with you. I mean, it sounds like fun.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I know there's a lot of negative
You
ramifications.
evil man.
A lot of stuff.
You nasty woman.
You think about it though. I mean, you go into fucking Venezuela, and you say, "Hey, I noticed you got a lot of oil, and hey, I just want to give you a couple $1 billion. I know that's like 3 times your GDP. You guys don't even make that much, but I'll give you 3 times that. All I want you to do is I want you to poison, Hugo Chavez.
That seems so wrong.
That'd be funny, so funny,
Terrible. It's like a video game. It's like a simulator for
It is.
crazy evil.
Maybe we are in a simulator. I don't know. It makes more sense than anything else. Hey, there's something going on with reality. Something.
Yeah, reality. Something's going on with it.
I mean, something's going on here.
Something.
Something's going on with fucking being alive.
That could be the name of the podcast. Something's going on.
Yeah. On that note, we're going to end this with something's going on with reality. Haven't quite put my finger on it
Yeah.
yet, but it's happening.
Whether you want it to or not.
Yeah. Ready to end this thing?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Let's get out of here.
Peace out.
Peace out. How do you stop this fucker? There it is. I got a little fade to black thing here. Check this out. Oh, wait. Yeah, maybe it'll work. I don't know. Fade to black.